Get it, get it, get it, get it!
Like, you know where, like, the cleavage is? Where, like, the boobs touch? Or supposed to touch?
No, I've never touched a woman.
Cat Everfrost will use knock-on fight hit. There goes a 5-man shield there. Berserk's going to get caught up in the baby cage. Gets us going to be a 3-man shockwave in the backline with a big
huge.
face breaker. That's going to be a showstopper right there. That's
Can't get slowed when he was in fight speed. That's decent, that's decent. Nice. Okay. Okay then. I'm gonna try to get you the pentagon too. You never know. You can't die when you do. It's gonna get dogged.
Can go. I mean, I have flashing. A second.
Oh my god!
Have any teleports on the side of CCW. They might try to go for a pick here. Box Prime has to be careful. Doesn't know they're all there. This could be the pick they want, but you have to be careful as well, though. They're going to burst him down. Box Prime dies before anyone else can go in. They don't get the second call of the force dive, and here we go. Here comes the Vlad. Keep an eye on the Vlad. Vlad on the back line. There's a double knockout. Keep an eye.
Welcome welcome all back to the Risen Divine League here. I know it's been a short break since you've gotten to see myself and Bonfire if you were keeping tabs on us on Sunday, but we're back here for week 2 now on Tuesday with our showcase matchup, which is set to be Primal Instinct versus Shining Light Defenders. It's a Group B matchup. Bonfire, none of these teams have a win yet, certainly looking to get one out as we are early on in the fall 2022 split.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Primal Instinct doesn't even have a game played. They haven't played a game yet, and so this is the first time we're going to see this new look squad, so I'm excited to see new players. And meanwhile, on the other side, Shining Light Defenders went 0-1 in their first week, but it's a long season, and playoffs, are still a little bit away. And, we talked about it on Sunday. The first opening matchups can still not mean what's going to, happen in the grand finals. So both these teams looking for a very possible win here.
Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs? Yes. Playoffs certainly are not a factor yet at this point early in the season, but what has been a factor for a lot of these amateur level leagues, and we keep harping back on it and going back to it time and time again, Bonfire, but I think it's worth mentioning once again, is play-ins are slowly closing out. Shout out EG, of course, for all you NA fans, but we get an idea about what the meta has looked like on that 12.18 patch. What sort of changes do you think we might see get prioritized in bans and potentially picks that you're also seeing on that stage out in Mexico City?
Yeah, I'm rocking my NA merch. Go Team Liquid, but
Did they make
I'm an
Worlds?
honorary EG fan. I was about to say an honorary
Yeah.
EG fan, obviously, as I'm an NA fan at heart. So it was nice to see them win, and it was also really nice to see a lot of the picks they brought across the set mid. Really interestingly enough, could be a counter against Silas's in the future. I'm interested to see how that plays out with JoJo playing it. Maybe it's just JoJo. Maybe it's something that you could see with a lot of different mid laners. But I'd say the one that's gotten the most attention right now, and you've touched on it quite a bit, is that Maokai. Abusing it in the jungle. We saw DFM busted out in their first game, beating RNG earlier today, and it just looked so strong with the saplings being able to have so much bush control and get vision, along with the ultimate being used in Fog of War when there's an objective, just able to root so many carries and push them so far off. Felt like a really strong pick. So I'd be interested to see if the Maokai warrants a ban or at least a pick in this first match.
Yeah, Maokai has certainly been a powerful pick nonetheless as we do swing on over to our draft side screens here. And we are getting set here to get going with the draft, but we have some time to touch on some of those picks you talked about because obviously, while the Divine League brings some seriously high level competition, it's not the same as, your Evil Geniuses, your DFMs, your RNGs. So some of these picks that you see that are really prevalent on the main stage, like Aatrox, might not come out if the top laners don't have that Aatrox in their wheelhouse. Maokai, though, certainly a pretty simplistic champion to play when it comes to even clearing, and obviously your goal in team fights, which is to make sure every single sapling and piece of tree branch goes and roots everybody on the enemy team. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see it get prioritized in picks and bans. As it looks like so far as we get into our game one picks and bans here, Trundle is on the docket to get banned out. Still a pretty powerful jungler, even if you're talking about the Maokai bonfire.
Yeah, Inspired busted out the Trundle in game one against Mad Lions and really showed how strong it can be. I think Trundle's always going to be incredibly strong just because of the ability to steal stats away from the main tanks. Also, with the damage that he brings out, it's just such a strong jungler. So I'm not surprised to see the Trundle banned out. But it is interesting because we talked about the Maokai not getting it an early ban yet, but there's still a lot of bans to come out.
Certainly still a lot of bans to come through here as we go through that. I believe that the second ban took a while, but it is a pretty impactful one as the Aatrox will get taken off of the slate here for the Primal Instinct side. So I guess it looks like Fallen Void on the 0-0 side squad, the blue side squad, certainly has Aatrox in their wheelhouse, and they'll ban him out. Are you expecting, though? We looked at some top lane bans, some jungle bans, top side of the map oriented bans. Are you expecting to see what are you expecting to see from the AD carry support area? I know the bottom lane is certainly our bread and butter. Are you expecting to see a Misfortune ban or pick come out as we slowly get through this first game one draft?
Well, I think Misfortune was actually one of the AD carries that I expected to see banned out quite a bit, and it hasn't really went that way with Worlds and with Risen Divine League Week 1. I think people really expected her to be a lot stronger than she currently is. Now, that's not to say she's bad, it's just to say that you can still pick around her. You're seeing a lot of different AD carries in this meta. Aphelios, Sivir, Tristana. You're seeing so much disparity, and so I think that you don't want to waste a ban on the Misfortune, and the same goes with support. Again, you can play so many different supports and have them all be viable versus the jungle and the top lane where it feels a lot more static. So I'd be surprised if I saw an AD carrier or support ban early on, unless it's a pocket pick or a comfort pick for one of these players.
It will certainly be interesting to see how it goes on as we did actually miss a ban here. I'm curious if we can get updated on who that possibly was missed out on the side of the Primal Instinct. Oh, I actually forgot to mention that I believe Primal Instinct actually they've lost 2 bans, or at least our blue side teamer has lost 2 bans. So certainly something you have to factor in. Nonetheless, the Primal Instinct squad, they're gonna pick the queen of multiple lanes here at Bonfire, the Seraphine, and unsurprisingly to the meta standards, the answer is immediately to the champions we talked about in the Maokai and Misfortune.
Yeah, I kind of cast or cursed it with talking about the Misfortune. I will say I don't think that immediately spells doom and gloom for the side of the blue side, but I do think that it has to be answered back. The Sona hopefully going to be that answer, and then they've got that big top laner in Ornn going to be their tank. So far I like their comp. I'm just a little worried going into the Maokai because they gave it away. They're giving away so many strong picks, like the Silas being hovered. It really does feel like they're giving away all these strong picks, and this is where those two bans would have come in handy.
Yeah, certainly two spots where you could potentially see. I would wager at least one of the three of these champions that have been picked up for the side of Shining Light banned out. But nonetheless, yeah, they're just playing meta by the book right now. Silas, Misfortune, Maokai are all, I would argue, top 3 picks in their respective lanes. So certainly you favor the Shining Light comp so far. But on the other side, it looks like the Pit Squad, they're going for a composition that we kind of see maybe fall out a bit. If you're rocking Sona Seraphine in the bottom lane, it could be Enchanter Deathball as the answer.
Yeah, the issue with that is that you're going to need to get a top lane, a mid laner, and a jungler that can carry super hard. And right now, you don't have that with the Ornn. A lot of these bans as well, Yone, Hecarim, those are the kind of champions that you would want carrying those games with the enchanters. And so it starts to get a little worrying if this Mumu gets picked up as well. The CC is so good on Shining Light defenders, and so right now I'm kind of favoring Shining Light just based on their draft.
It's hard not to, especially with a Mumu being hovered now. It's just power pick after power pick. It's constant here. I mean, a Mumu could slot into that support role. Not only is one of the most powerful supports currently in the meta with his ability to be aggressive early and team fight support, but he just works so well with Misfortune over top, being able to support the bullet time so very well. So Shining Light defenders are certainly looking to defend a pretty potent draft. What do you think the answer is here from the Primal Instinct squad, Bonfire? Because they don't even have the luxury of a counter pick either, right? This is blue side.
Yeah, they need to pick something incredibly strong in the mid lane, something that can give them the win instantly. It looks like the Kane's going to be that in the jungle, but it needs to be the same for the mid lane. If they go with this Enchanter Deathball, I like the Kane pick. Just as a champion, I don't think he's incredibly in tune right now in the meta, but if you can play him right, it doesn't matter, and then it's going to be the Victor. I'm a little worried about the Victor because, again, I understand the Enchanter pick, but the consistent damage I'm not sure is there from the Victor. Has to wait on cooldowns, has to make sure that he can, continue to fight in the backside, and so, I mean, right now, I'll be honest, there's a lot of question marks on my side from the Primal Instinct. Meanwhile, for the side of Shining Light defenders, if they pick up this Yuumi, their Misfortune should never die. Silas is never probably going to die. It does look like they're going to shift over to the Gnar for a little bit of flexibility in the top side, and hopefully to push in that Ornn all time. But I still don't hate that. I still think that's a great pick.
I think they've just gone 5 for 5 on currently strong champions, the Shining Light defenders. I mean, they banned Aatrox. That would be the only pick that would be more meta proficient at this current moment than Gnar. But Gnar is usually the blind answer to people that pick Aatrox on the play-in stage for Worlds 2022. But man, yeah, Shining Light defenders, you brought up the point, the Victor might not be very safe against this comp, and he also has to be the one that puts out a lot of damage. He also has to be the one that, there also is, when you speak about damage, Bonfire, where does the 80 damage come from on Primal Instinct side?
It has to be on the Kane, and even so, there's not consistent damage on the Kane. It'll be interesting to see if they go red or blue Kane based on the comp and kind of where they feel their pressure is best utilized. But I'm just not sure if it's enough damage. You look at the comp as a whole, I imagine it's going to be AP Seraphine just because, again, you lose the Kane, you lose the Victor. It's just no damage at all. So I would hope that it's going to be an AP Misfortune, Seraphine. I just don't know if it's enough. And then briefly, if I can, just talk about the Misfortune. This is like a dream Misfortune game. The amount of CC and peel that she has is unbelievable. It really feels like we should get some really unstoppable bullet times this game.
Yeah, unstoppable bullet times nonetheless. But if you are the Shining Light defenders, obviously, I don't want to sit here and just drag on their composition, right? Bonfire, it has its strengths inherently. If you are a Primal Instinct fan, what is your sort of prescription or goal here to make sure you can beat off what is considered the all-star meta comp in game 1 against the Shining Light defenders?
Well, I hope you've got time on your hands because you are hoping this one goes late. You've got an Ornn, you've got a Seraphine, Sona, you've got a Kane and a Victor. You are really hoping this game goes to 40 minutes, 45 minutes. And at that point, hopefully your Kane is one-shotting people. Your Victor just does so much damage that the Misfortune cannot walk up. The Ornn obviously will be giving over those ornaments. And then you're just hoping that your shielding is able to stop the absolute death ball that those meta champions have. But even so, if it goes late game, I still don't hate the other composition of Shining Light defenders. I think, you're happy having a late game Silas. You're happy having that late game Gnar and Misfortune. It's not like those champions fall off damage perspective wise, and the CC will always be good throughout the game. And so you hope it goes late, and then, yeah, I mean, you're basically coin flipping because I don't think it's an instant win still.
Nothing is an instant win in the Risen Divine League. That's what I'll say out the gate.
Facts.
Is
Very true.
we are getting client side drafting here as you get a good look at a bit of a switch up on the graphical department here. You have the logos. I do want to make sure to mention we didn't get to touch too much on it before we got into draft here, but these are two brand new Risen Divine League teams, so they're looking to make their mark against each other nonetheless, as they really haven't had, we have the Primal Instinct squad that's 0-0 still. They didn't even get to play their week 1 matchup, and Shining Light Defenders dropped their first one to Purdue Varsity. So you put them on the main stage, and, we've talked a lot about the compositions, Bonfire, but talk me through what the mentality is, coming to the Divine League, and what do you think's running through these guys' heads now that they're all in the Divine League and they're on the showcase match for week 2?
Well, first of all, Primal Instinct has an unbelievable logo. That logo is exceptional. I'm a big fan of that logo. I don't know if you see it as well. It's a cool logo. So big fan Primal Instinct on the logo. Shining Light Defender is a little bit more basic, but I respect it. In terms of answering your question and not having fun with the editing side of things, I think the idea for everyone just has to be, we joined Divine League. I'm not sure if any of these players have played games with casters and graphics and bands that you could lose regular seasons playoffs. These players might be new to this, and so it just has to be, don't let your nerves get a hold of you. It obviously isn't on land. There's no money behind any of this. This is a very low expectation league for the players. But I think there is still like a good amount of nerves with playing a streamed game. I think if you've got viewers, if you've got a VOD that you can look back at and be like, oh, I should have done this better, or like the casters didn't like when I did this. I think you definitely start to tense up a little bit. And so they need to remain calm. They need to, slow their nerves down. And then hopefully they can play League of Legends the way that they want to play League of Legends.
I do have to fact check you a little bit. They are playing for money. So this league does
Ah,
involve
I knew
money.
that. I did know that.
There was an entry fee. You did know that. It's all right. It's all right. A lot of information to get out at once. But we are getting through the client side draft, which means we are also getting a look at least summoner choices. And it does bring up an interesting debate, right? And I think it comes back to the AD carry position currently, because when you talk about AD carries and their summer choices, obviously still running Flash unless you're absolutely insane. But outside of that, heal, I feel like, is taking a bit of a backseat in the current meta, and you're starting to see, champions rock with. I mean, cleanse has always been a factor, Bonfire, but is it crazy to see some of these AD carry players picking Ghost and even Exhaust in some of their matchups over heal? And we're seeing that again as both the AD carries, I put in quotation marks, as Seraphine is an AP carry, aren't running heal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy because I think heal has. I mean, I've always been saying I think heal is just kind of it's a good summoner for trading, and also all inning. But I think that there are better summoners. Just in terms of you look at the pure stats, you're gonna want to take barrier if you're looking for an all in by yourself. The heal's good for having another player, but I think if you want to all in by yourself, you want to go barrier. And if you've got a Sona Seraphine, it makes sense, right? You've got the shielding. If you lose the Seraphine, she has heal for herself. And then I've always just believed that cleanse is good. I'm never going to be on the ghost train. I think ghost is really you believe in yourself a little bit too much, and it usually comes back to bite you in the butt. So never been a big ghost fan. Only on certain champions with a bit more health and better trading. But I think cleanse and barrier have. I'm actually happy that they're seeing the light of day a bit more.
Well, certainly are seeing the light of day here for game number 1. I do understand the cleanse picks, obviously, with a lot of AD carries, especially Misfortune, where as successful as she's become with her crit build and late game scaling, she's still all about the bullet time. And when you look at the other side for Primal Instinct, you've got a couple long range ways to interrupt that. I mean, obviously, Crescendo and Encore are in a lot of ways the same ultimate, if you really think about it. I mean, the only difference is that one's a charm and one's a stun, and the charm makes you walk a little bit more towards Seraphine, and the other one, Sona, just makes you dance. But I don't know the exact stun timer numbers, but they've got to be pretty close. They look pretty similar. They're still both long range, so you're going to want to be able to get out of those with a cleanse before a Victor can jump on you, an Ornn can jump on you, or the Kane can. But I do want to quickly, as we are getting through that spectator delay, Bonfire, we talk about the Kane. We haven't touched too much on it here for the Evio Tempest, or Evo Tempest, excuse me. Words are getting a little jumbled. What sort of path are you thinking with, red versus blue Kane coming out here for this game one against the comp you see from Shining Light Defenders?
Well, Slayer, I thought I had a sneeze coming, and it worked its way back up my nose. So unfortunately, I didn't hear that question fully. Just the end of it. I just want to clarify. You're asking which is better, red or blue Kane?
I'm saying, what are you expecting from Evo Tempest? Yes,
All right.
in this game, blue or
Just,
red Kane?
just making sure allergy season here where I'm at. So I was like, I don't want to sneeze while he's asking the question. I have to say, I'm looking at a blue Kane performance. I think you want to get those assassinations. Obviously, you're looking towards that misfortune. And the thing is, if you can blow up the misfortune, it is true that a lot of damage just rests solely on hurt, right? It's the Silas and the Nara as well. And those are two very strong champions damage wise. But if you can kill the misfortune, I think I feel pretty confident that you have the shielding to make sure that you can survive the burst ability of a Silas and a Gnar. So if this Kane's job is basically make this misfortune uncomfortable, don't give her good bullet time angles. If he's able to do that, I think the team fights get a lot easier. So I expect the blue Kane, but I also would not be surprised to see a red Kane because with the tanks that they have, you want to stay alive in these fights.
Well, we'll have to see here which sort of pathing they go with Ross versus Kane here from Evo Tempest. And there's a lot of interesting storylines we'll have to look at to see here for this game number one. But to do that, we're going to have to go back to good old-fashioned Summoner's Rift. So
Yes,
we'll
sir.
take a quick break here. But on the other side, you'll have game number one between Primal Instinct and Shining Light Defenders. Don't go anywhere.
Like, you know where like the cleavage is, where like the boobs touch? Or supposed to touch?
No, I've never touched a woman.
Cat Everfrost used knock-on fight hit. There goes a 5-man shield there. Rack's going to get caught up in the baby cage. That's going to be a 3-man shockwave in the backline with a big face breaker. That's going to be a showstopper right there. That's
Can't get slowed when he was in Pike speed. Absolutely. Nice. Okay. Okay then. I'm gonna try to get you the penta, honestly. You have one more? I just can't die with it. It's gonna get dog.
You can go. I mean, I have flashing. A second.
Oh my god!
Have any teleports
Go for a
on the
pick
side of
one here.
CCW. They might try to go for a pick here. Fox Prime has to be careful. Doesn't know they're all there.
He's
This
in
could be the
Mega.
pick they
He's
want,
in Mini.
but you have to be careful as well, though. They're gonna burst him down. Fox Prime dies before anyone else can go
Oh,
in.
he
They
missed the
don't get
call
the
of
second
Force
call of
God.
the Force God, and here we go. Here comes the Vlad. Keep an eye on the Vlad. Vlad on the back line. There's a double knockout. Keep an eye on the Vlad. Vlad gets one of them. Vlad's able to get two of them unbound. He's gonna survive on the back end of it, but they're gonna be able to kill the Anivia. And there's two dead on the side of
Still
CCW.
going.
Can they get more? There's the Vlad. Can they get the knockup on Asthmatic Boy? Can he get the blast kill? No, he can't. He's gonna fall incredibly low. They're gonna keep going in. Team Shooter is gonna be able to get the root. They're gonna try to find more. They're gonna find everyone. But there's the kill. Unbound. He's doing it all. Unbound is doing it all. Give it out. Unbound. Unbound's killing them all. Unbound is winning this game.
Okay. You guys good?
They're definitely gonna get it, but I think they win this one side.
Nice.
Or maybe they don't.
Get it!
where like the cleavage is, where like the boobs touch? Or supposed to touch?
No, I've never touched a woman.
Cat Everfrost used not gonna quite hit. There goes a 5-man shield there. Price Rack's gonna get caught up in the baby cage. That's gonna be a 3-man shockwave in the backline with a big
huge.
face breaker. That's gonna be a showstopper right there. That's
Can't get slowed when he was in Pike's game. I've taken. Nice. Okay. Okay then. I'm gonna try to get you the penta on him. You have one more? You can't die with him. It's gonna get dog.
Can go. I mean, I have flash in a second.
Oh my god!
Suddenly teleports
They go for a
on the
pick
side of
one here.
CCW. They might try to go for a pick here. Box Prime has to be careful. Doesn't know they're all there. This
in
could be the
Mega.
pick they
He's
want.
in Mini.
But you have to be careful as well, though. They're gonna burst him down. Box Prime dies before anyone else can go in.
he
They
missed the
don't get the
call
second
of
call of
Force
the force guard. And here we go. Here comes the Vlad. Keep an eye on the Vlad. Vlad on the back line. There's a double knockout. Keep an eye on the Vlad. Vlad gets one of them. Vlad's able to get two of them unbound. He's gonna survive on the back end of it. But they're gonna be able to kill the Anivia. And there's two dead on the side of
Still
CCW.
going.
Can they get more? There's the Vlad. Can they get the knockup on Asthmatic Boy? Can he get the blast kill? No, he can't. He's gonna fall incredibly low. They're gonna keep going in. Team Shooter is gonna be able to get the root. They're gonna try to find more. They're gonna find everyone. But there's the kill. Unbound. He's doing it all. Unbound doing it all. Give it out. Unbound. Unbound's killing them all. Unbound is winning this game.
We're back on Summoner's Rift here for game number 1 between the Primal Instinct squad and the Shining Light Defenders in the second Group B of the Divine League split here. As you can take a look, Shining Light Defenders on your red side here, going for what could be a cheeky invade bonfire, but they're gonna have to worry about a Sona in the tri-brush waiting for them. This could get explosive quick though.
Yeah, I think Sona has to worry about them being in the tri-bush. She has to be very careful. They're doing a good job of kind of
Oh
looking
boy.
at this. Watch out for the Mumu.
Oh boy, one bandage toss and this thing might be over, but he whiffs just to the left. The MF slow does come out and they'll force the flash,
Oh.
but he's got 2 sets of bandage tosses in his arsenal and he'll grab the second one. Sona will immediately take her healing ability. And while Amumu may be able to do a lot of stunning and slowing their bonfire, but without some damage behind him, it's just going to be Sona walking away. But both summoners burned in that contest.
Yeah, they did what they wanted to do. I think that was a huge misplay by Lord Christo the second. Have to give him the second title. Don't want to think of him as senior. Because why are you warding there? Why are you warding there? Just stayed along too long to get that ward down and cost him flash and heal and a lot of danger. That was a bit of a question mark for me.
Certainly doesn't help that they're playing against a bottom lane that will look to be sort of aggressive early. But as we do have minions crashing into waves here, and we're getting into the game 1, it does give us some time to look at some summoner, some rune choices, some summoner runes here. And the big one that screams out to me, Bonfire, that I wasn't necessarily expecting as we see Bounty Hunter trade a bit. Junie's Soul is going with the not press the attack. I'm blanking
First
on the
strike?
name.
First
First
strike?
strike, yes. Instead of press the attack. See, I got him switched up. Certainly not the meta choice, nonetheless.
Yeah, I also don't understand that as well because of the poke that just loose cannon has on the Seraphine. You're not going to be proccing it as much as you want. I think you just want that damage. Late game, it might be good with your raining bullets down, but I don't know if I love it. The extra damage I think is a lot better when you have pressed the attack.
Yeah, certainly is an interesting choice that we'll see if it pays off. We'll be able to track how much gold is Misfortune to be able to grab with first strike. It's obviously very easy to proc it. You're going to get a look at it there. Yep. Just make the raining bullets onto the enemy players, and you will proc it for some extra gold. As we do look at the top lane matchup, might be a little more of a snooze fest as IRS Bounty Hunter will charge forward to trade with the Victor, but the Victor certainly fine pulling back. We swing back bot side, and you can already see Evo is looking to go into a
Got the
counter
Kane.
gank here. That Mumu went forward without knowing the jungler was here and immediately flashes away. Kane responds with a flash of his own, and they're just going to have to tank first blood, but Junie Soul doesn't run, tries to turn, and has to burn flash and cleanse of his own. And now, oh boy, this is just an absolute barn burner in the bottom lane. Maokai shows up.
Got him.
Bounty Hunter grabs one of the kills, but Seraphine is able to trade out Junie Soul. And at the end of the day, well, we're not done just yet, as the Maokai will knock Lord Christo into his own turret, pull aggro and fall, and Iris Bounty Hunter, the only one left, will not be able to trade out the Kane. It's all up Shining Light, Primal Instinct squad as they get 3 in the bottom lane.
Yeah, it looked so bad, as I might have to stop you right now. There might be top lane going. Ooh, it looks like it's just to be trading.
And you can see Bounty Hunter is also trying to shove in the wave, but Lord Christo does have that red and blue buff, which means can get a ton of extra harass and will force him to back. Actually done a bit of lane swapping here as Junie Soul went to cover mid lane, where Insane is just free farming, and that's got to feel pretty comfortable on Victor.
Yeah, as now I have a chance just before someone fights again, because knowing Divine League it's going to happen, to talk about that last fight. It looked really bad for Evo on the Kane at the beginning when he was waiting in that pixel or that tri-brush for so long, and he wasn't getting anything, which is not what you want to see early pathing on Kane. But they pushed up too far. The subs also burned way too late for Junie Soul, and at the same time you have to flash before you cleanse, I'd imagine. Uses both at the same time, as now Evo might be looking for something top again.
Yeah, Evo is certainly looking to get to that blue form as quickly as possible. Good dodge by Monkey, but he doesn't know Evo in Tempest is here. He does have flash up. There's the Q forward from Kane. There's the flash forward from Ornn, and he's able to flash away just in the nick of time with about maybe 15 HP to his name. Nonetheless, though, another successful gank for the Kane, who is cruising towards that blue form now.
He's not backing either. Monkey's not backing. He's staying around with that little amount of health. He does have teleport, but he doesn't want to lose any minions from this huge wave. It's a bit risky, but he calls their bluff. So good to see that he doesn't lose an entire wave off of that. Still gets the advantage on Gnar, about 9 CS up right now, up to 10. Now he's going to use that back. So calls the bluff. Could have been disastrous if they decided to tower dive, but he knew that he had Soldier there on the Maokai to cover him. But yeah, that was just top lane. Just not enough damage, very close, but he wasn't able to, they weren't able to get the kill. Burn the flash though, so if there ever is a counter gank up in the top lane, that one will be successful.
Well, we'll certainly have to watch to see if any of those counter ganks fly out, as we do get a little bit of a low state early here, and as we hit nearly 6 minutes. And as I said, that Bounty Hunter able to land a good hit of the chains forward there onto Insane. There's another powerful Q, and Victor certainly taking his level of harass, and now maybe has to respect Silas, as he does have hijack up. He's not going to try and grab the Chaos Storm yet, but as things do seem to meander down a bit, I want to ask you, because you have 2 kills now on just Loose Cannon, right, on the Seraphine. Is there a switch up in itemization from maybe instead of going Moonstone Renewer, run more damage, or do you think that was out the gate? I'm not even going to let you answer that question, as we're about to get into a team fight here. You can see Evo in Tempest is back down the bottom lane. He goes immediately onto Yoshiko, who's able to walk his way out, and then he turns around with a bandage shot, jumps right back in. But I don't think Maokai was on the same page, as he is just eviscerated from the bottom lane. Monkey 3000 not doing any favors for his team. He whiffs Gnarl onto Ornn, and it's another great play initiated from the Primal Instinct jungler. As oh boy.
Yeah, you might have to cast this.
Yeah, Call of the Forge God does come out. Fallen Void uses his W to land Call of the Forge God, but now Monkey's able to throw out those auto attacks in mini form. He gets 1 triple proc, and, well, Fallen Void, the right idea, not enough damage, and it's just going to be a trade of ultimates.
Yeah, in the bot lane quickly. I'm not sure why Yoshiko decided to go back in there. Doesn't have flash, and they thought they had the burst down ability in the bot lane, but with no ultimate on this Misfortune, it doesn't feel like they have the damage that they would want. They did know that everyone was there, and they just don't know the limitations of their champions, it seems. And so, a bit of an interesting choice there in the bot lane. Don't have the CC or the damage to do a fight, but all it cost them is 1. In the top lane, it felt like Fallen Void could have gotten something done, but when he wasn't able to get the knock-up, the Gnar was able to bounce himself away, and just like you talked about, not enough damage if you don't get both of those brittle procs.
Oh no, Yoshiko. Wow, okay, so actually Evo Tempest decides not to go for a major engage
Gentleman
here,
agreement.
as both, gentleman's agreement is both junglers are posturing towards the middle lane here, as we do see Soldier. Not level 6 just yet. It's a key thing to point out. Nature's Grasp is not available for Maokai. Very powerful ultimate, and you're going to see Bounty Hunter get back off here. I do want to point out, though, Bonfire, you did talk about this Pain from Evo Tempest likely going blue. Conqueror may suggest otherwise, though.
Yeah, I can, like I said, I kind of split it down the middle, which is never the choice you want from an analyst, but I wasn't sure. I did say he could go blue Kane, and that's what I expected, but I also said red Kane wasn't a complete int. I understand it. You want to get through this front line. You want to keep yourself alive with all of the CC, so I do understand it. I do think you want to burst down this MF. You know, that's your highest priority as Kane, but I also understand going red Kane, so I don't think it's a terrible choice. It's not what I personally would have gone, but there's also a reason I'm casting it that way.
Very true. Oh, here we go. Monkey 3000. Good ultimate to throw Ornn into the wall, but there's just not enough damage up here just yet. It doesn't help that Evo Tempest is shown right up. Flash Q forward, but a good hop from Monkey 3000 means the Gnar gets out once again. So maybe a bit, you know, a payback trade there, as Evo Tempest flashes for very little, and now Monkey 3000 gets to force it. So no kill nonetheless, but still another batch of Kane stacks in the top lane.
Yeah, and most importantly, got the back out from Gnar. Look at the wave state. Look at how many minions this Gnar is missing. Gets the Ornn back in a good position, able to get that tower plate and a couple of waves, which feels so good considering how far he was behind in CS before that. Although it is going to cost them this bot lane dragon because they saw the Kane go top. Now Evo might want to possibly contest, but this would be bad if he does.
Evo Tempest did switch to Ross form, so you have Red Kane locked in. He's going to come around the side with the rest of his squad. This could get dicey, and there's the first set of ultimates there. Bullet Time gets interrupted by Insane, who blows up Junie Soul. There's Crescendo on to 3 members. A hijacked Seraphine ultimate from Bounty Hunter may not be able to do enough, as he's facing 3 members of Primal Instinct. That fight blown up in an instant thanks to Evo Tempest and company. They're now rolling in the kill department.
Yeah, and that fight was completely made by Insanes. That Bullet Time was looking to do unbelievable damage, but Insanes was able to interrupt it and just blow up the Misfortune, get to the back line, and they didn't have the support from the tankiness that they needed. It looked so good at the beginning, but a combination of the Encore and Insanes getting on top of the Misfortune meant that they just did not have the damage to continue the fight. And so Bounty Hunter was the only one left alive at the very end. And look, the Silas had an opportunity, but he wasn't able to kill the King quick enough, died just by himself, and that's going to mean a 2,000 gold lead for Primal Instinct, something I don't think either of us expected.
It was interesting, right? Because before that fight, I was going to bring up the fact that, yes, you know, Evo Tempest has pushed a lot of great kills out for his squad, but the gold was pretty darn close, mainly due to CS numbers, as you can still see some inklings of that. I mean, Monkey 3000 is still up nearing 20 CS over Fallen Void, and the mid lane CS department was actually lopsided towards Bounty Hunter prior to that fight. But yeah, off the back of that fight, I mean, only so much CS can falter a kill difference like 8-2 Bonfire.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the side of... Ooh, might be another fight right now.
Oh, Monkey 3000 able to stun up Fallen Void, but these two just love to trade blows. They don't have any damage in their pockets, but here comes the damage for Primal Instinct. That is Evo Tempest and Insanes. A beautiful call of the Forge God into the Kane Ross knockup, and that is a free kill on Gnar, but we might have the response here in the bot lane. Soldier and Yoshiko are looking to go set up for a bit of a dive, but Loose Cannon sniffs it out, and they are running back for their tier 2. There's Nature's Grasp put out, and it's able to grab Sona. Soldier's going to jump forward now. There's Curse of the Sad Mummy. A 2-man Encore will stave them off, but they're still able to take down the Sona. And now they're going to keep going for another engage here. Bounty Hunter going to jump into the fray here along with the Misfortune. And that's a huge shutdown over to the Silas. Bonfire was far from clean, but that's 2 kills over the Shining Light defenders.
I did not think that they had enough damage to do that. If you saw, just Junie Soul, was under the tower trying to push a wave in. And so I didn't think they had enough damage, but they just found it onto that Sona. And then to continue onto the Seraphine, they needed a little help from the IRS, just as we all do. But Bounty Hunter was able to get in on the Silas. I thought Yoshiko was going to go down, but a perfectly timed stopwatch along with a bandage toss. He bandage tossed under tower to get away, and before he would take a shot, he used his stopwatch, which was, I mean, it was kind of unbelievable the way that it worked out. But hey, what starts well and ends well feels well, and I'm sure they feel well about that play.
750 gold shillings well spent. And Bounty Hunter once again lands another good combo. There's the W40, steals away the Chaos Storm, and they both trade them. So they both send their own separate Chaos Storms, but Bounty Hunter certainly got the better of that trade, and he's starting to really pack a punch in the mid lane with those 3 kills now.
Yeah, it's a chaotic day on the Rift, it seems. Both teams opting for chaos. I think Yoshiko quietly has had a really good resurgence on this Amumu in the last 5 or so minutes. Just doing a really good job of roaming, obviously getting those kills with the stopwatch, doing a good job. And so I just want to give him credit because I know I was very critical of his play earlier. So he's doing good. I would like to see them utilize Junisol a little bit more, but this is just completely switched. It looked so good early on for the side of Primal Instinct. That feels like the momentum is slowly shifting back to Shining Light Defenders. So no team is really so far in the driver's seat that this game is going to be over in the next 10 or so minutes. But I do think that a lead is going to be carved out on the next team fight, and that might set the tone.
Well, here we see Evo Tempest once again trying to set the tone towards the bot side jungle, but I don't know if he's fully aware the Bounty Hunter is also roaming around. He's going to keep progressing forward, though. His enchanters are behind him as the trades continue to come out. There's Nature's Grasp, and oh no, here come 3 members of the red side team. That's a 3-man encore, though, into the K knockup. Crescendo follows over top, but no kills just yet, and they finally pop. Bullet Time does a good job eviscerating some of the 8th health bars, but no kills fallen, and Junisol is going to have to run into the wrong side of the river. He's being hunted down by the enchanters. He's actually going to be able to walk up towards mid lane and will have to flash away at the end of that. A huge play once again started by who else, Bonfire, but Evo Tempest.
You do not want to be in that side of the jungle if you're the side of Shining Light Defenders when there is a Sona and a Seraphine. Just an absolutely perfect bowling alley for them to land their ultimates. I mean, that's an absolute strike right there as they both land their ultimates. A beautiful encore. And then that's just a wet dream for Kane right there as he's able to land all of his damage. Usually he has to use some of them. Ooh, I might have to stop right now.
Yeah, Yoshiko and Junisol showed back up. Here comes Bounty Hunter and Soldier looking for some revenge. Amumu will land a bandage toss forward, but they're doing a very good job of zoning the Shining Light Defenders here as there's a stolen away encore for Bounty Hunter. He might turn to use it here, but he's going to jump onto the Seraphine and blow her up. Loose Cannon has been silenced, and it looks like the Shining Light Defenders are purely content on just taking away that shutdown. A good catch on the reset, though, nonetheless.
Yeah, Loose Cannon was just completely stuck in there. She was hoping that she could just kind of back under the nose, but she was spotted by the Bounty Hunter. The IRS will always get you, pay your taxes, everyone. And right there, it certainly showed as the Silas noticed and said, hey, guys, we've got a Seraphine right here just waiting to be killed. And kill her they did.
Yeah, now, oh boy, Junisol and Yoshiko have to look out for Evo Tempest, who's been an absolute savage in this game. He does get stunned up by Curse of Sad Mummy, and then he's able to use Umbral Trespass to jump onto the Misfortune. The turret falls thanks to Insanes, and thanks to another use of this Laser Ray, takes down Junisol. This Victor is churning out so much damage himself, but Bounty Hunter does not care. He'll miss the chains forward and ends up being 2 kills for the side of Primal Instinct, and the tower secured.
Yeah, and a top tower and mid towers getting pushed in. This is just an absolutely fantastic macro play. They were able to get both kills, and they're all going to get out, I imagine, unless Fallen Void does have to be careful. Does have flash, though, and ultimate.
Monkey 3000 does have that speed up ability of the mini, but he is able to force the flash out before he turns it into Mega. So it's another flash burn in the top lane with no kills. If you're scoreboard watching here, yes, it is very crazy to see that these two are 0-0-1 and 0-1-0 after so much tension in the top lane.
Just top lane things. Just top lane things. That's all you like to see in the top lane. Monkey also has to be careful because it looks like they're diving.
Oh my god, it's a 4-man onslaught. Call the Forge God is only the beginning. There's the knockup from Evo Tempest. Is this his 6th kill? No, it's his 9th assist, but if you're doing math at home, Evo Tempest Bonfire is a perfect 14 for 14 in KP in game 1.
Yeah, I will say it's a good job to get that kill, but again, talking about macro and splitting across the map, you see Shining Light Defenders utilizing this across the map. They get bot turret, or if they did have bot turret before, apologies, they get a good push in bot, but I did see they definitely did just get mid kill, so that I know for sure. Either way, you lose one member and you're able to get a lot of push and a turret, you're a happy man no matter what.
seems like every time Primal Instinct do go for a big play in either the bot or top side lane, they are immediately answered by Shining Light Defenders in some sort of macro play. I don't know, Bonfire, you know, with the kill tally, I would expect a little bit more than a 3K gold lead by this point, and it's got to do talking about that macro plays you keep talking about.
Yeah, I think the macro has been really good from both teams. Obviously, I praised the macro of Primal Instinct earlier when they were able to get all 3 towers and 2 kills before. And then when they tried to go get that, to go get that, that Gnar in the top lane, it was answered back really well by Shining Light Defenders. And now they're going to go get the Rift Herald. So it's just a lot of trading across the map. But Primal Instinct has been the one to push the buttons in terms of fighting, in terms of taking objectives. It does feel like Shining Light Defenders, a lot of time, is just on the back foot. As right now, this Ornn has to be good.
Bounty Hunter is certainly taking a new task up trying to fight Fallen Void. He does get a good combination out, but then steals away Call of the Forge God. But Fallen Void is a pretty tanky boy now with that mythic item placed in. Evo Tempest fears apparently no mortal man or tree as he goes forward into 3 members of Shining Light Defender. Soldier is set to run away now. He queues forward once again. There's another good knockup. He's chunking him down with that percentage health damage, and it's going to force out Nature's Grasp. The Blast Cone sends Kane under the turret, but it is the demise of Soldier. Here comes Yoshiko forward. A stolen Call of the Fourth God forces the cleanse out of Junisoul. Bullet time will finally come, but it comes way too late as the Amumu is already dropped, and now Bounty Hunter is on the wrong side of 3 in his own jungle. He tries to trade out Seraphine, who pops the barrier, and Evo Tempest will help claim another victim. It's 3 clean kills once again towards the Primal Instinct squad.
Yeah, damage be damned. This Kane's doing all of it himself. We obviously in draft had a lot of worries about the attack damage from the side of Primal Instinct. Just looking at their comp, doesn't matter. 1 champion does enough for 3, and that's all that matters right now. This Kane going red, Kane shutting me up, just surviving through so much. Doesn't need to blow anyone up. And honestly, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but these bullet times have been pretty terrible so far. It feels like they're always way too late. They're never set up. The Amumu hasn't been there to set up these bullet times like we expected, and Soldier hasn't gotten in a good position. And that just comes down to Maokai not being as strong of a champion when you don't have the advantage in River, when you don't have that warding advantage, the vision advantage. If you're just using your ultimate and they see it all, it's so easy to get away from. And so there's not the CC that the bullet time needs. I'd like to see the bullet time damage. I know it's not possible, but I wish, this is my dream, that I could just see how much bullet time damage has done this game. I'd wager it's less than 1,000.
It certainly doesn't help that, you know, like, yeah, Junisoul not had the greatest bullet times, but in that last fight, you had to watch him. He had to worry about loose cannon firing, you know, the Encore across. You had the Sona also with Crescendo. You had to immediately cleanse one of those ultimates before he could even try and go for a bullet time, all along while worrying about Evo Tempest jumping on him in the backline. I mean, if he's eviscerating this tree with Turbo Chem Tank, what can he do to the Misfortune?
Yeah, it's a bit of a disaster. We talked a lot about in the draft, and this is why it's important to actually watch a game and not just the draft, because we talked very negatively about how this side for Primal Instinct was going to deal with the Misfortune and all the CC and the peel ability, and they've just said be damned. The Encore has done incredible work. They've been fighting in these narrow corridors, and it's just been an absolute disaster for them, as Iris Bounty Hunter might be next on the docket as he's able to get himself away. Steals the Crescendo. Not sure about that one. I think it's just to keep himself safe, but out of all the ultimates, I think you'd expect maybe an Encore or a Call of the Forge God. Crescendo a bit interesting as they're setting up for a possible Baron, but just finishing my point, it hasn't been what we expected, and that's just due to the good play of really Evo doing an incredible job of setting up these fights in uncomfortable positions for Shining Light Defenders.
I will say, you know, when it comes to Silas Hijack, you have to steal away other ultimates to reset the ability to take that Encore away, right? So maybe grabbing the Crescendo means that later fight, he can grab that Encore. Also, you know, does scale with AP. Doesn't matter, though, when you throw it against an Ornn, which he just did in Fallen Void as he continues to trade with him. But this Ornn is one tanky man, or god, depending on your definitions, as he does land Call of the Forge God on a Bounty Hunter, flashes the wall, goes for the knockup, but the Blast Cone saves IRS Bounty Hunter on the other side of the Rift. The blue team are going for Baron here, and Evo Tempest is just zoning off the entirety of Shining Light Defenders. Yoshiko can flash all he wants, but Umbral Trespass means that King follows you. That's the first kill. Soldier and Monkey 3000 try to flank the Enchanter Deathball, but it doesn't matter when they have no support from their team. There's the double kill over for Evo Tempest, and now their sights have to be set on Baron as, oh my god, Insanes is looking to try and duel them right outside their base. Bonfire, they are playing with so much confidence right now.
Yeah, and how could you not be confident? You've got the front line of Orange who takes 0 damage, and you've got Evo who does 1,000,000 and doesn't take any damage, but he might be careful now.
Ooh, yeah. Bounty Hunter did steal away Call of the Forge God. There's the stolen one utilized. Insane just cut off the rest of his team, and this should be a good trade kill set up by the Shining Light Defenders mid laner. But this Baron still hasn't been taken. It's down to 3.3k, but they're missing their mid laner now. Evo Tempest has very low mana, and they're going to pull an NA LCS move and not finish a Baron they've started, and that's going to be a big, big play for Shining Light Defenders.
I'd actually have to disagree. I think an NALCS move would be to try to finish the Baron, get aced, and then lose the game because of it. So good job disengaging there, knowing their limits. When you lose Insanes, you just have to, concede it. And I think that's fine with the gold lead they've acclimated. They're able to just do it again at another time. They said, sorry, we'll do it again later, which is fine. They obviously need to win a fight before that, which is, never too sure. But I don't think it was they need to get this Baron right now. So it's a good call away to make sure that they don't do it, especially with the Dragon up in a minute. Even if they win it, but they lose a lot of health bars off of it, it still could mean losing a Dragon, which they would be on soul point if they're able to get the next one. So I think they're going to fight over this Dragon. I thought that was a good pick on Insanes, just making sure that he overpushed a little bit, knowing that you've got Call of the Forge God. He did miss Flash, which is always, feels bad, man, but it is what it is. Right now they might be looking for more.
Yeah, they're going to invade a jungle that they've claimed as their home constantly through game 1 as Primal Instinct will set up shop in that red side bot jungle, and Yoshiko has been the victim of Evo Tempest constantly, and he's close to falling again. One auto attack. There's Call of the Forge got into a beautiful encore to claim the Gnar, and the bullet time does do decent damage, but everybody's able to step away from it, and Evo Tempest is now in the red side base, and he picks up another kill for Loose Cannon. A stolen encore can only do so much as this Ornn is now running rampant in the red side base. Soldier and Bounty Hunter have nowhere to go but for their 2 Nexus turrets as a place of safety, and Primal Instinct, they're about to crack the base wide open.
Yeah, better be damned. We talked so confidently in draft about how good these champions were from Shining Light Defenders. Doesn't matter when Kane does not give a damn. 10-0-12 on Evo, a statement game for him, playing so incredibly well, just able to get onto the back line. Bullet time was used by Junisol, but at this point in the game, that bullet time feels more like a slight tickle. Just does not matter as they would hope it does, and now they have to be careful as they're getting flanked. Ooh, but they're able to get away. You have to be careful though. Bounty Hunter is behind them, and so this could turn into a disaster.
Soldier's going to jump forward onto every member, but he's immediately killed off here. Bounty Hunter, sure, you steal a crescendo, but you fired onto 2 tanky members, and you've now lost your Maokai. That's a legendary Evo Tempest as he claims his first kill, and they're split all across the river. Junisol now has to face off with the 11. They get 12-0-13 Red Kane. Monkey 3000 is staring down an Armada and is slain in the Dragon Pit, and that's going to be soul point for Primal Instinct, and you got to think even more of the base chunked down for the side of Shining Light Defenders.
Yeah, it felt like that was the fight they've been waiting for the entire game. They split off the team. They had people coming from each direction. Bounty Hunter had a good flank, but the pockets are way too big for Primal Instinct, and it showed right there. They were able to just get that in all 5 surviving fashion, and that's got to be a little bit of a tilter, or at least a little bit of a disaster in the mental, because that's the fight you want, right? That's the fight that feels good at the beginning, but at the end of the day, they didn't even have low health bars. Did not feel like that was ever going their way. This game could get dicey if they're able to find some picks, but if not, this game is done and dusted as they want to find Fallen Void.
Fallen Void is forced to flash away from his stolen away Call of the Forge God, but it doesn't matter because Bounty Hunter is able to land the chains, but immediately with the chains landing, the Ornn will teleport. The Amumu Q lands on a minion Bandage Toss, not the Ornn, and it cancels the teleport. Rubbing salt in the wound is the minions of Summoner's Rift, as the rest of Primal Instinct are casually taking Baron Nashor. Soldier can use Nature's Grasp all he wants, but without an ability to get over that wall, this should be Baron secured. Once again, though, Evo Tempest and company, they're just juggling this thing. I'm curious why they haven't just secured it. It's down to 2K, and now they finally chunk it down. Encore will land into Crescendo, into that Chaos Storm. Bye-bye, friendly tree. Evo Tempest is legendary.
Yeah, I think they were worried about him having flash, and so they were a little concerned that he could flash the wall. Obviously, they did not know that he didn't, and so they were trying to make sure, let's juggle it, let's wait till he comes over. They have the burst ability. This Maokai is a very young tree. He is a sapling himself. But trying to go in at Insane's here. I think Insane's gets himself out pretty comfortably. I gotta say though, that was very funny watching that minion tank it. It was you talked about hero minions. That was the definition of a hero minion.
Yeah.
Just coming away. I mean, hey, it's true. This Amumu has no friends, and it just goes to show that even the minions are bullying him at this point.
No friends in the industry. No friends on Summoner's Rift for Yoshiko so far. I mean, is 0-9-5 in this game one, which has been a pretty big slaughter so far for Primal Instinct, as they will utilize that Baron power to take down a couple more turrets. They knock down the mid inhibitor once again, and now they're knocking on the door of that Nexus, and you got to think it's going to pop soon.
Yeah, Yoshiko's looking like me in solo queue. Just after a long day of on campus, come back home and go 0-10, cry myself to sleep. Yoshiko's just like me for real. Yeah, I mean, it's a best of 3, so he still has a way to get back, because right now they're looking for a way to get back on Insanes.
Insanes has been picked off once before, and Bounty Hunter utilizes the Chaos Storm, but it's not enough damage. She's rocking the Ghost, and that is one speedy scientist from Piltover who's able to walk right on out into a recall with the Baron. His one death was from a pick, and he said, that's not happening again today.
Looking like Victor at the end of Arcane, running beside the ship, getting his legs back underneath him. Such a good scene in the show, and such a good spoiler. That show's been out for such a long time. Junisol will not be out for much longer.
Junisol is going to have to bring out the Flash to get away from Fallen Void, but doesn't matter. Call of the Forge got into the next knock-up, and Evo Tempest claims another one. I have to comment on this by this point, Bonfire. It is insane to me, and not the victor for Primal Instinct. Evo Tempest is actually 28 of 28 in KP right now. A perfect 14-0 and 14. He's been involved in every single play for Primal Instinct, trying to stamp himself as the premier jungler for this split of the Divine League, and he's doing a good job as the rest of his team knocks down another inhibitor. They still have the Baron in hand, and they're eyeing that Nexus turret. Might not be able to crack it as easily, but it certainly helps when Insanes is doing great poke damage. The turret falling very rapidly, and you got to think that the Shining Light defenders have to pull the trigger at some point. They can't just watch their base be eviscerated, and as I say that, they do, and they let both inhibitors fall in the top and mid lane and a Nexus turret, as the rest of Primal Instinct have their eyes set on an Infernal Soul.
Yeah, they were waiting for the Misfortune. I think if you fight that without your AD carry, you're basically just giving it away. Meanwhile, for the side of Primal Instinct, they see the Misfortunes back. They still have to worry about bullet time. I think this one's as good as done as dusted, as Soldiers can make that shit.
Oh, Soldier. I know you see so much nature around you, but this Maokai is not welcome in any parts of this jungle. There's Yoshiko, who does utilize a nice Curse of the Sad Mummy, but at this point, they're just hitting them with their wallets. There's another 2 set of kills over to Evo Tempest. Bounty Hunter can only run away with his new Banshee's Veil to sport. Will only be able to stop maybe one slow. Monkey 3000 is running down mid lane. I think trying to, yeah, he's proxying the mid wave. But at this point in the game, do they even care about minions? Fallen Void says, hell no, as he immediately walks up to tank the turret, hits Call to Forge God to knock Bounty Hunter away. He'll have to flash from the Armada pouring into his base, and this one is all done and dusted, ladies and gentlemen. Primal Instinct in a 31-6 fashion smash Shining Light defenders for a game 1 win.
Evo, 31 of 31 kill participation.
Insane.
I think that's the best kill participation I've ever seen while casting. 100%. And being on a jungler is also impressive, because as a jungler, you set up a lot of plays, but you also tend to die quite a bit if you're setting up plays. On Kayn, you expect to go in, maybe get 1 or 2, get some damage off, and then possibly fall. But he just never did. I think that was one of the best performances I've seen on a jungler. 31 of 31. Wow.
Absolutely absurd. And I know this isn't our normal setup for the Divine League. We're unfortunately without a host for this one, which means we didn't really get to do predictions. But I'm going to go ahead and give both of us a loss, because we both sat there and praised the composition of Shining Light defenders. I think we both would have picked them to win that game. And boy, were we shut up quickly.
No, I definitely was gonna pick Primal Instinct.
Yeah, okay.
No, it was a complete slap in our faces. I think a lot of viewers' faces, and that just goes down to execution, right? You can play a game or you can draft as good of a comp as you want, but when it comes to League of Legends, you still have to play the comp you're given. And Primal Instinct knew something that we didn't about the way that they play the game, which is dominant when you've got a Kane. It's dominant when you've got the champs that you need. There's going to have to be a return to drawing board after this, but I'm not even sure what Shining Light Defenders do because you look at their comp and you're like, that looks good on paper, just has to come down to execution.
Yeah, certainly will have to come down to execution. And you pointed out, I mean, that was the Meta All Stars lineup of 12.18 in a lot of ways. And they just got absolutely slapped by the Primal Instinct squad. To see what sort of response the Shining Light Defenders have in store against not Viego and the Fog, but Primal Instinct. We'll have to go another break. On the other side, though, we'll look into the draft for game 2 between these two squads. Don't go anywhere, Risen Faithful.
Like, you know where like the cleavage is, where like the boobs touch? Or supposed to touch?
No, I've never touched a woman.
Cat Everfrost used not gonna quite hit. There goes a 5-man shield there. Rax going to get caught up in the baby cage. That's going to be a 3-man shockwave in the backline with a big face breaker. That's going to be a showstopper right there. That's
Can't get slowed when he was in Pike Steve. I've seen. Nice. Okay. Okay then. I'm gonna try to get you the penta honestly. You ever know? You can't die with it. It's gonna get dogged.
You can go. I mean, I have flashing. A second.
Oh my god!
Have any teleports on the side of CCW. They might try to go for a pick here. Fox Prime has to be careful. Doesn't know they're all there. This could be the pick they want, but you have to be careful as well, though. They're going to burst him down. Fox Prime dies before anyone else can go in. They don't get the second call of the force guard. And here we go. Here comes the Vlad. Keep an eye on the Vlad. Vlad on the back line. There's a double knockout. Keep an eye on the Vlad. Vlad gets one of them. Vlad's able to get 2 of them unbound. He's going to survive on the back end of it, but they're going to be able to kill the Anivia. And there's 2 dead on the side of CCW. Can they get more? There's the Vlad. Can they get the knockup on Asthmatic Boy? Can he get the blast kill? No, he can't. He's going to fall incredibly low. They're going to keep going in. Team Shooter is going to be able to get the root. They're going to try to find more. They're going to find everyone. But there's the kill. Unbound. He's doing it all. Unbound is doing it all. Give it out. Unbound. Unbound's killing them all. Unbound is winning this game.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
They're definitely gonna get it, but I think we win this one, guys.
Nice.
Or maybe they don't.
Get it!
Like, you know where like the cleavage is, where like the boobs touch? Or supposed to touch?
No, I've never touched a woman.
Cat Everfrost used not gonna quite hit. There goes a 5-man shield there. Price Rack's gonna get caught up in the baby cage. That's gonna be a 3-man shockwave in the backline with a big face breaker. That's gonna be a showstopper right there. That's
Can't get slowed when he was in Pike's D.
Welcome back, everybody. We missed you as we were taking a break here between game number 1 and our second game here of Primal Instinct versus Shining Light Defenders. I'd like to apologize as my joke from prior might not have made a complete sense in the world of lore for League of Legends. I was trying to reference the Sentinels line against Viego. Doesn't matter though, because Shining Light, Sentinels, there was no light at the end of whatever tunnel for this team, Shining Light Defenders,
Oh.
in game 1 against Primal Instinct. You know, Bonfire, you touched on what you might want to see from changes. Is there anything in the draft that you'd want to change from their meta all-stars team, maybe?
No, that's the crazy thing is I thought it was
Yikes.
I thought it was a really good draft. We both touched on it a lot about how we thought it worked in tandem with how the league as a whole is kind of performing. I think it just comes down to execution. I think the only thing I would possibly change is the misfortune. Didn't really feel like you got the damage that you want out of her. And I think when it comes to execution, it just comes down to jungle play, just an out jungling performance. Whenever you have 31 of 31, it means you are ever present across the map. And so for the other side, you need your jungler to do a lot better. And that's Shining Light Defenders. You need that pressure. They didn't have it on the Maokai. So I would expect maybe Misfortune and maybe Maokai to switch off. But I liked the comp. You liked the comp. We both liked the comp.
I definitely like the comp. This is not just you saying something very silly about a draft. This is both of us agreeing it was a very, very, very good comp. I do also want to point out, not to like rub salt in the wound here, but keep in mind Primal Instinct has a two bans taken away from them for this entire series. So you can see that they didn't miss their first ban there. They're just waiting to go for the third ban, it looks like. On the other side, though, Shining Light Defenders still going to ban out the Udyr, and they're actually going to ban out the Seraphine, which does not help that they were the ones to helm her in game number 1.
Yeah, I'd imagine that Seraphine is just such a strong champion that you never really want to go against her. Even though she went AP in that last game, it didn't feel like she went AP. Like the shielding was still really strong, and the damage really did feel like she did go AP. So Seraphine just an incredibly strong champion. I understand the ban. Udyr a bit more of a question mark, but I get it. I mean he's Udyr, and maybe somebody is really good as Udyr, and then the Aatrox. Need we say more?
Yeah, need we say more? I keep getting things switched up. Primal Instinct actually did have a Seraphine. I was getting the comp switched up. Nonetheless, though, Primal Instinct, they will repeat something that they did in the game 1 draft. They did ban Trundle out as their one ban, so they'll take Trundle away again. And Shining Light Defenders, maybe they heard us. They're just thinking, I mean, these are 2 strong champions to mess up twice in a row, right?
Surely not. Surely not. I think you have to pick Maokai there. Again, we talked so strongly about him.
What is that?
Just because the execution wasn't there doesn't mean it can't be there in the next game. Meanwhile, on the other side,
what is that?
Just throw caution to the wind, right? Screw it. You have a 1-game advantage. Let's see what works. Throw darts at a dartboard. Maybe you'll get a bullseye one of these days.
I will say Soraka is a very good pick currently. I think Soraka is a strong enchanter right now in the support meta. Ziggs, I haven't seen him in a while. Zeri will never be nerfed into the ground, I'm convinced by this point, as she'll be selected there to be helmed by Junie's Soul. So no Misfortune Bonfire, and it looks like they're thinking with the Zeri pick that's going to be another AP carry for Primal Instinct's bottom laner, just a loose cannon with not cannons, bombs this time.
Yeah, I also understand that last game they Primal Instinct just completely said, you know what, we're not gonna go bot lane, we're not gonna be too concerned about
Oh,
getting it ahead. We're
it's
just
back.
gonna focus on making sure Arcane can do as much damage as he can.
They
And
can't keep getting away with this.
it's another run it back game. If it's not Seraphine Sona, it's Ziggs Soraka. You don't have to worry about going there. They can just clear waves. You don't have to focus on it. And then late game, you are a late game Kane. So last game it worked. Why not try it again?
Well, we move into the second phase of bans here, and this time Primal Instinct, they do get all their bans in this phase, and they're going to target a couple of Bruiser Duelist top laners. They're going to take away a couple champion picks for Monkey 3000 there, so no Fiora, no Darius. On the other side, it's all top lane bans. Set and Ornn are knocked away from Fallen Void, so no Ornn repeat means you will have to see another different top laner, and with the pick so far for Primal Instinct, it looks like they're totally fine switching up some parts of their composition as well.
I'd imagine they feel comfortable, right? I understand the bans for both top laners, especially the Ornn. The Ornn was so strong last game. I mean, when you're a Silas and you can't side lane against an Ornn without threat of dying, it's a bit worrying. But instead, they're going to say, you took away one of our beefy boys. We've got another in the back pocket. The Doctor. He's back.
Dr. Mundo will be picked up there for Fallen Void. Obviously, similar in the tankiness stature, but not a lot of CC in his kit. He's kind of just there to survive and you know, heal up rapidly. An interesting response, though, is the Olaf here from Monkey 3000. So he says, I'm going to throw caution to the wind myself and try to win this top lane matchup very, very hard, as that's exactly what Olaf as a top lane pick screams out to you, huh, Bonfire?
If it's an Olaf top, I'm not sure we know exactly where everyone's going right now. Maokai can still go top lane with the Olaf jungle. I expect a Maokai jungle just because of how prevalent it's been, but you never really know. I think Maokai is one of the most versatile champions right now, along with the Seraphine. And so when the Seraphine was picked, it was the same question mark for me. And with this Olaf and Maokai, you never know. I expect this to be their mid laner, which is Victor. So going with the Victor again, or not again, they're stealing it away actually from Primal Instinct. And the Victor was so strong last game, I completely understand why. With a Maokai as well, you're just completely locking up choke points with the gravity field, along with the Maokai ultimate. It just feels impossible to get in if you are already in those choke points. And so I understand the idea. Meanwhile, on the other side, looking like a Swain, both of these team comps looking strong.
Yeah, a lot of AP to back up the side of Primal Instinct, but they've already shown last game that they're completely fine giving all the AD damage over to their honestly star-studded mid laner Evo Tempest after game number 1. We do, you know, with the Victor locked in, I would wager very heavily that that's an Olaf top for Monkey 3000. I mean, Maokai is strongest right now in the hands of the jungle, and Soldier did just play a game on Maokai, but initial reactions here, Bonfire. You have both 5v5 comps, and be careful with what you say, because last time what we saw from Draft did not reflect what actually happened on Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, if I'm just okay, I would like to preface this by saying, just going off of draft, let's just assume these are two drafts with no people behind them, and you just have to judge it off of draft. This is not my prediction for who's going to win the game. I like Shining Light Defender's comp. I talked again about how good the Victor along with the Maokai is when you get into the choke point first. It reigns true. If they're able to get to the Dragon Pit first, it gets so difficult for Primal Instinct to get into that Dragon Pit, to get into that Baron Pit, because there's so much CC, there's so many choke point holds. So I like that comp so far. I also like Primal Instinct's comp. Again, there's placing a lot of AD on Evo. Last game it worked out well. If they don't get the damage and they don't get the KD that they want, suddenly this Maokai is so difficult to get through. But it worked out last time, so why not again?
Why not again, indeed, as we are going to client side draft here, so we will definitely be able to get a better look at exactly where these champions are slotting in for their respective players, and you know, maybe some summoner choices, as these are always interesting to watch. But I do want to ask you, when we talk about the Shining Light Defenders comp, right? It definitely screams out late game scaling originally. You have the Victor, obviously. Zeri, you know, while she hasn't been nerfed out of meta, has been nerfed to the point where you have to play her safe until at least 2.5 items. But you look at the rest of the comp, Olaf is certainly wanting to win duels early. Are you expecting Soldier to prioritize getting Monkey 3000 ahead with this, not only the state of the rest of his team, but with the nature of Olaf top?
Yeah, I think this is the issue with going Olaf top instead of Olaf jungle, is that the reason you go Olaf jungle is because of how strong he can be at accelerating your late game carries progression, right? You can get this Victor ahead, and you can get this Victor into a 30-minute mark at 15 minutes, which makes you feel so much more comfortable. You don't have that. And right now there's a bit of a timer across the entire map, and they're just skewed, right? You talked about this perfectly. Olaf's timer is at 25 minutes, I'm bad, or I'm not as good as I could be. You've kind of utilized all of my good timing. Meanwhile, on the other side, at 25 minutes, Victor said, okay, now we can start fighting. And so I'm worried, right, about these timers, and I wouldn't be as worried if it was an Olaf jungle because, again, you can accelerate the timers on Victor so that they intersect and they can fight at the same time. I think it's going to be an issue. I think you touched on it perfectly.
Well, hey, I appreciate the compliment, Bonfire.
It's the
I
only
think
one you're getting. Only one you're getting.
I don't think that's true necessarily. As we are running through the client side draft, we touched on the top lane matchup. I mean, it's certainly going to be hard to knock down the Mundo, especially post level 6 with that ultimate involved. But before we do get a full look at summoners here, as I'm saying, we might get a look at one. Are you expecting Monkey 3000 to run? Excuse me, the turbo aggressive combination of Ignite Ghost, or what are you thinking?
I imagine he goes Ignite Ghost, or at least Ghost Flash. I think you have to go the Ghost on Olaf. The issue is, again, you're picking into a Mundo. So if you go Ignite, it's against the healing. I understand why you would go it, but you're probably not going to be killing the Mundo too exceptionally often. And so it just becomes an issue. So I don't know. I think it's a bit of an interesting choice for the top lane matchup, especially knowing, or I'm forgetting the order. Did they know that? Wait, let me check real quick. Did they know that they were going into a Mundo when they picked Olaf?
Yes.
Then I don't get it. I just
They
don't
did.
get it. I really don't get it. I don't understand it. Because you want to get those kills on Olaf, and you want to push the tempo of the game. You're probably not doing that in solo fashion. You need to pull your jungler, and then you're pulling your jungler away from a Zeri Nautilus botlet. I don't know. I don't understand it. We were both wrong. It's teleport Ghost on Olaf.
Teleport Ghost, yes, still a little more reserved, but still nonetheless helps, to chain together those throwing axes if you can keep landing them on Olaf with the Ghost. We have the rest of the summoners popping out, and we have, for the first time in my casting career, 4 separate champions running Ghost. My God, what has happened to League of Legends?
A lot of running. Everyone's running it down. Everyone's running it down the rift, not down in the bad way. I also
3 Ghosts on one team, man. What is going on?
I also want to say I hate Ghost teleport on Olaf again because, like, if you once you pop Ragnarok in the later part of the game and you're just pushing up, hoping to get on top of the carries, sometimes Ghost isn't enough, and you have to flash to get the slow with your axe. You don't have that. You have to use your teleport to push waves late game. Like, it's just a big question mark for me on this Olaf pick. And I've been proven wrong, obviously with the Primal Instinct last game, the way they played, but just a big head scratcher for me if you just look at it from a draft perspective.
Well, we've done a good job looking at it from a draft perspective for Game 2. We intriguingly had some takes about the draft perspective in Game 1 that were immediately cast out. To figure out if we're going to look silly once again once we get out of the game number 2, we have to play game number 2. So on the other side of one more break, we'll have Game 2 between Primal Instinct and Shining Light Defenders. Don't go anywhere.
Like, you know where like the cleavage is, where like the boobs touch? Or supposed to touch?
No, I've never touched a woman.
Cat Everfrost used not gonna quite hit. There goes a 5-man shield there. Rack's going to get caught up in the baby cage. That's going to be a 3-man shockwave in the backline with a big
huge.
face breaker. That's going to be a showstopper right there. That's
Can't get slowed when he was in Pike's team. I have CC, I have CC. Nice. Okay. Okay then. I'm gonna try to get you the penta honestly. You ever know? You can't die with him. It's gonna get dog.
Can go. I mean, I have flash in a second.
Oh my god!
Have any teleports
Gonna go for a
on the
pick
side of
one here.
CCW. They might try to go for a pick here. Box Prime has to be careful. Doesn't know they're all there. This
in
could be the
Mega.
pick they
He's
want.
in mini.
But you have to be careful as well, though. They're gonna burst him down. Box Prime dies before anyone else can go
Oh,
in.
he
They
missed the
don't get the
call
second
force
call of
shot.
the force shot. And here we go. Here comes the Vlad. Keep an eye on the Vlad. Vlad on the back line. There's a double knockout. Keep an eye on the Vlad. Vlad gets one of them. Vlad's able to get two of them unbound. He's gonna survive on the back end of it, but they're gonna be able to kill the Anivia. And there's two dead on the side of
Still
CCW.
going.
And they get more. There's the Vlad. Can they get the knockup on Asthmatic Boy? Can he get the blast kill? No, he can't. He's gonna fall incredibly low. They're gonna keep going in. Team Shooter is gonna be able to get the root. They're gonna try to find more. They're gonna find everyone. But there's the kill. Unbound. He's doing it all. Unbound is doing it all. Give it out. Unbound. Unbound's killing them all. Unbound is winning this game.
Okay. You guys good?
They're definitely gonna get it, but I think we win the team fight.
Nice.
Oh maybe they don't.
Get it.
Like, you know where like the cleavage is, where like the boobs touch?
Back on good old-fashioned Summoner's Rift here for game number 2 of the Divine League Fall Week 2 showcase. That's certainly a mouthful, but Bonfire, I'm sure I'm going to be spewing a lot more words, so as we get on to Summoner's Rift, and hopefully before any action really pops off, tell me what you're seeing from the Summoner choices. I'm slowing my roll here because I'm not even going to let you be able to talk, am I? Well, there's a 5-man death brush for Shining Light Defenders as they want to get revenge for last game's level 1 invade. And, well, they're a little bit successful this time. Insane's forced to flash, and you'll take whatever wins you can get.
I think it's funny as well because that hook was going to miss. It was already halfway down the river when he flashed afterwards, but you always want to flash just in case. So
The
I don't think
hitbox,
you're.
man.
I know exactly that hook is half the size of Summoner's Rift. So I get it. Even though I mean I'm sure he'll watch that back and say like, oh, I didn't need to flash. But again, better safe than sorry. That's what I always say.
Better safe than sorry indeed. And now I'll get out my point so I can prop you up on a bit of a point here. Am I going to have to stop again? Guys, let Bonfire break down the rune
So
choices for
rude.
game number 2. So, that was a terrible pun. I almost want to not let you talk about the rune choices after saying that. But are there any that scream out to you now on either side of these two teams?
Nothing too crazy. I think first strike on the Ziggs makes sense. Obviously, you are going to be lobbing those grenades out, those bombs, so it makes sense. Before we get into everything as well, though, we do still have to give our predictions for game 2, because
Oh, yeah.
we didn't do it. I will give mine quickly. I think that Primal Instinct looked so good in game 1. I think they do it again, game 2.
As much fun as I enjoy spite picking against you for any sort of predictions we do, I think Primal Instinct will take this one as well. Mainly because I think jungle is the most impactful position in the game, and having Evo Tempest on your team is too much of a diff. So let's see if Shining Light Defenders can put up or shut us up with his game two
Alright.
performance so far. Not a lot of action early. You can check out the pathing. Both these junglers almost mirroring in pathing so far.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a red cane as well, just based on the Conqueror pick. So it's going to be a run it back of from Evo, as Bounty Hunter might look for some vision. Now knows the buff is gone, and now Monkey has to be very careful.
I don't think Monkey's paying enough attention though. Is there's the flash forward from Evo Tempest. He's gonna try and trade out the Mundo, but it's once again first blood secured from the Primal Instinct jungler. He's got that instinct for hunting down first bloods, and his squad is up once again in game number 2.
You cannot say anything bad about me using puns when you just said that. Bad puns aside, I think Evo's going to show that there might still be more.
This man has an unsatiable hunger for kills. As he does show up mid lane. The ghost is forced out of Victor, but it was actually forced out, argue, by Insanes. It's a bit of a tilter cancel back comes out from Monkey 3000. But once again, this guy is just showing up in every lane. I think it's his goal to show face in every lane before 5 minutes, Bonfire.
Yeah, and I think it's good trying to get some pressure onto the Victor. Victor had to
Here we
pop the
go.
ghost there to get away, as now it's in the bot lane, and they don't know.
Now they'll have an idea that Evo Tempest is here. He's going to jump onto Yoshiko. There's a flash forward from Soraka to try and get the silence to cancel the hook, and Yoshiko feeling a little brash after forcing a bit of a flash from his opponent support player there. And once again, though, Evo Tempest, he never ganks a lane without getting something from his opponent.
Yeah, I think the flash forward was interesting. I think in another world it hits and we're both like, wow, what a great Soraka play. But it didn't. And so we're both like, wow, what a not great Soraka play. That's okay. You got to go for the stylish play sometimes. I do it all the time on Thresh. Slayer hates me for it. But yeah, no, I think you got to go for it. And now
Oh!
suddenly there's more brash plays.
Soldier with the flash over the opposing wall, and Yoshiko lines up the hook beautifully. That was a masterful pickoff play, and Insanes is feeling insane in the membrane with a gray screen heading back to the fountain.
Someone's got to put a stop to these that you're doing. I think it was a
That was
great
a song
play.
reference.
I think I'm just gonna continue with my point. I think Soldier it was a poppy like play where you flash a wall because you feel comfortable as a tank just doing that, does it and is able to get a kill for it. And again, they're knowing that Insanes doesn't have flash, so even if he reads it and gets away, or he can't get away. I take it back. There's no way. Even if he reads it, he can't get away because he doesn't have flash. As we're looking back right now, I want to watch this again. Yeah, so they know Insanes is here. He's pushed up a little far, and it's just a great flash to get it. You get the root, push him back. Yoshiko, good follow-up, and Soldier knows that he, as long as he doesn't get rooted, is going to be fine to tank a couple of tower shots. A great job, a proactive play, which is exactly what Pitt needs.
Proactive play from Pitt. Bit of
Or not Pitt.
alliteration there
Excuse
so
me.
far.
From Shining Light Defenders. I was wrong.
Shining Light Defenders, yeah, nonetheless, you ruined my alliteration. It looks like Evil Tempest is trying to ruin Monkey 3000's lane dominance. It's not really even lane dominance, as he is down 0-1 so far, but he only shows face, and that does force Olaf back. Not as many kills in game number 1, and immediately as I say that, a beautiful hook from Yoshiko, a knight on top of the Soraka to force some healing back, but his AD carry is feeling, way under the weather, and the play is just ignite burn in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I don't get it. Because also Ghost was popped. Well, Ghost was also popped from Junisol, so it's two summoners for what never really felt like what was gonna be a play. There's some damage off on the Swain, but you pop two summoners, you get barrier out of the Soraka, but you also lose the pressure that you had built up. I don't know. I don't understand it. I think there's a lot of desperation on the side of Shining Light because this is an elimination game, or not elimination, but this is match point. If they lose this, they lose the match.
Yes, a clear cut way to put it. If you lose this match, you lose the match. 100%. Primal Instinct are in a more, you'd say a comfortable spot with First Blood, right? But when you actually take a look at the gold here, it's pretty darn even, and it's mainly because of those CS differences, right? And you see it in the mid lane. IRS bounty hunter, he takes taxes away, but he also taxes your waves as he's up 13 CS on his opponent. And I can't even see Bonfire, but I know he just wants to punch me because I got another decent pun out there. But what do you think about how the CS differences across the lanes, nonetheless?
I can't even be mad because I made my own fair share of IRS bounty hunter jokes in the last game. So you know what? I'll give you that one. You look at the gold; it's actually not where you expect it to be. This Kane is doing incredibly well. Is oh my god, they're just battling so much in the top lane. But this time it might go over to an unreasonable side.
Well, Fallen Void had ultimate, so he has that healing factor up and he's able to pop it. And Monkey 3000 doesn't do enough damage. It doesn't even matter if the soldier comes over because they can't press the issue with the ultimate discrepancy. So you force the ult out of the Mundo, but look at the response here on the other side of the rift. Evo Tempest, you're getting a look at the view from the Shining Light Defenders. It's a lot of darkness on the Dragon Pit Bonfire.
Yeah, they have no idea that he's taking it. Meanwhile, he knows, hey, we saw that Soldier was in the top lane. We know that this is safe. One person who doesn't know that this is safe, Insane's, and he's going to find out very soon.
He pops demonic ascension and flashes away. He even pops ghost, but it does not matter. The big boys are in town. Soldier will secure that first kill. A good trade for the Infernal Drake secured on the other side, and Shining Light Defenders are trying to defend their own gold lead now for the first time in gotta be a while.
Yeah, they've got themselves a gold lead. It's 100, so I don't really. I mean,
Woo!
it's a control word. Congratulations. It doesn't really feel like a gold lead. And so they're going even, which I think they're pretty comfortable with. One thing that they're probably not comfortable with, and I hate to pat myself on the back, but this Olaf pick has netted an early lead of let's see now.
Oh, yeah. Monkey 3000 does force Fallen Void's flash out because that Olaf attack speed goes absolutely crazy when he's low HP. But it does help that Lord Christo showed up to bestow some healing on his disciple there, and Mundo will be able to walk out scot-free. This game, though, still looking a lot closer than when we reached 9 minutes in game one, nonetheless.
Yeah, but again, I just want it before anything else happens because it feels like I can never make a point here with both of these bloodthirsty teams. Is what's this Olaf pick gotten you? It's an early game Olaf that you hoped would snowball in top lane. We talked a lot about how we wanted to get kills on the Mundo or at least pressure. You're up 10 CS. You're down an assist on your. I mean, I don't understand. It's just not a great topic for them so far. They're really going to need to utilize it, and now they're finally utilizing it for this Baron. The pressure that he gives. This is something more that I want to see from the top Olaf.
Not Baron Nashor Bonfire, but Shelly is of the same Void Disciple area here. But Evo Tempest is looking to claim Shelly for himself as he'll utilize that trance through the walls to check out how Rift Herald's getting chunked down. It's down to about 2.7 here. And there's Nature's Grasp from Soldier. He'll be able to grab 2 members of the Primal Instinct as they do have a bit of a split. Fallen Void is on the other side. There is Demonic Ascension popped. I don't know who picked up good old-fashioned Shelly, but looks like Soldier's going to get popped by Fallen Void. The first kill goes over to the side of Primal Instinct, and Evo Tempest is looking for more. There's another good pullback from Insanes. He'll secure a kill on Yoshiko, and yeah, sure, Shining Light Defenders, they did actually get the Rift Herald, but man, now they're staring down a couple of more deaths as Monkey 3000 sees 3 members of the opposing team behind his turret. He will not be long for this world, barring a crazy play. Fallen Void does take 2 unnecessary turret shots. He'll pop Ragnarok and get popped himself. Evo Tempest picks that kill up, and Iris Bounty Hunter may be the next victim here. He's going to dodge the first cleave, but a flash forward from Evo Tempest and the Chilling Smite is enough to set up Umbral Trespass. He'll come right through into the waiting arms of Nautilus, but he's able to secure the killing spree. Now, Soldier and Yoshiko, they're just 2 tanks. They can't handle this amount of damage. They walk right out, and that is 4 kills in total for the side of Primal Instinct and Shocker Bonfire. All 4 of them involved Evo Tempest.
Yeah, I mean, hey, they got the Rift Herald, right? That's it. Then they all died. So I think what we have to look at right now is what we're seeing in the bot lane. Junie's Soul this whole time is just stayed bot. Meanwhile, Just Loose Cannon took mid lane, took the mid tower, was able to throw an ult off. Junie's Soul just not proactive. And if you know that your AD carry is there in the bot lane, why are you fighting that? They fight what felt like a 4v5 because of the ultimate from Just Loose Cannon. And at the end of the day, they lose so many lives for that. I'd love to see a replay on how much damage they did. They were also split They didn't have the damage to kill the Mundo. It was just a disaster on all fronts, and they got chased down so far. And that's got to be pretty demoralizing to see yourself get chased down all the way into your tier 2 and it not really ever getting close except for on the Kane. It's just not what you want to see, but Just Lose Cannon might be caught out.
Yep, there's the depth charge into a nice hook from Nautilus, and Soul does not actually secure the kill. Soldier picks it up and immediately drops Rift Tail to try and crack the turret. Mundo's teleporting in the background as Evo Tempest thinks he can take on 3 members of the Shining Light Defenders, but he will be able to back off safely thanks to Lord Christo's healing. And Shelly
No charge.
is
No
popped
charge.
with no charge drop. So a very, very key, bit of objective control and gold taken off the rift for absolutely nothing. Is we switch mid and Soldier's being chased down by Insanes, who pops Ghost and Demonic Embrace, but here's that Olaf. Monkey 3000 pops the Noxie in general, and he has his eyes set on Soraka as well. A double kill over for Monkey 3000, and on the backside, Fallen Void, he jumps into all 3 of them. He pops maximum dosage, but is the healing enough? Well, I can tell you Umbral Trespass is enough to give Evo Tempest a rampaging kill onto the Olaf. And now Zeri flashes over the wall. Junie Sale gets 1 kill onto the Kane, and Fallen Void should be the next to fall. That's a double for the Zonian Electrician. And Ziggs is going to have to walk right away as a ton of kills go all across the rift. And Dragon is now the site for Shining Light Defenders. But Bonfire, we got to see a replay so you can take me through all that action. We missed the first half of it. Run me through this.
Yeah, this fight was unbelievable. This is actually the previous fight, and I wanted to highlight this. Again, look at the bot side. There's no Zeri. Look at the bomb. It does so much damage onto Soldier. Yeah, they end up getting the Rift Herald, but Fallen Void is keeping them in this trapped position. Soldier not nearly as tanky as he would want to be. Falls at the early end of it. Yoshiko and everyone just trying to get out. This is really good from EXO, as along with Insanes to push this, get the root, pull it back. Again, the silence keeping him from being able to hook himself out. And then they just want to speed this up. They want to push this wave in and get Monkey. This is a flashless Monkey. Did not take anything. He's just going to fall. Again, you pop that Ragnarok, you're just going to take more damage. Bounty Hunter's a little bit too far pushed up as well, so they say, hey, let's go for Bounty Hunter too, not knowing that there were the resets coming up. But what does it matter? They have the damage and the team play. It almost cost them the life of their Kane. On the backline, Soldier's trying to keep everyone else away, but who cares when EXO is able to heal up this much along with the Soraka behind them? Now they decide, you know what, maybe it's time to disengage. Maybe we've pushed up way too far. But at the end of the day, they're able to get so many kills on the front end of that. I hope we can look back at the other one too, because I want to break that one down as well, because it was such an extended fight, and that's just what Zeri wanted. In that fight, was able to do so much work. It felt like it just kept changing hands. Bounty Hunters might be stuck in the pit right now.
He is very much stuck in the pit, and he's doing a good job trading damage, but there's the ultimate from Ziggs. He's getting the comical healing at this point from Lord Christo and is shut down in the pit. So there's a good kill back for the Primal Instinct squad, but we're still sitting at a pretty even game thanks a lot to that Shining Light Defenders big win near the Dragon Pit.
Yeah, I felt like, you ever watch a cat video and it's just like, how'd he get there? How did that cat get there? That's how I felt like with Bounty Hunter. We got back from that replay and I was like, what happened? What precarious situation allowed this to happen? As we come back to a replay, this is the previous fight earlier that I wanted to touch on. Insanes is just going insane right now. I hate to do a U, but does a fantastic job of taking a lot of damage. Tries to get Soldier, not able to, and this is the Olaf I think everybody wanted to see. Running down the back line, wants to run down Evo now, but now he can't because Fallen Void's in the back line. So again, it's another split fight. Soldier is able to survive on the front end of it. Evo wants to come back, just able to get the kill before anything else happens. Ooh, here comes the slice. Show Wing gets the kill onto Monkey. Does not die from the Zeri. Just barely times it perfectly. But then here's the flash. Junie Soul does a fantastic job, and at this point, it's just free pickings for the Zeri. Gets onto Fallen Void and is able to kill them. As we're back into normal game state, we're all caught up. You know, prequel's done. Now we're in regular Star Wars films.
Oh, well, I'm waiting to see who the Luke Skywalker decides to be for this game as we approach mid-game. There is the power of Zig showing, though, as Loose Cannon lets the cannon loose onto that turret in the form of an explosive pack as they secure another turret to push the gold lead back into their favor. Fallen Void and Monkey 3000, they're testing their limits once again. I will highlight maximum dosage is available for this Mundo, and he's trying to bait out the Olaf, but He is not falling for that. He's too much of a bro. He's focused way more on the minion wave. Evo Tempest might focus his sights onto
Oh,
the Nautilus, who utilizes a very, very well timed blast cone to get over the Baron Nashor wall into the waiting arms of his supporting AD carry, who has some interesting itemization, Bonfire. I'm curious if you could touch on.
yeah, I think that I mean the Blade of the Ruin King feels very comfortable on a lot of AD carries. You know, obviously think of Vayne, you think of well, just a whole host of different AD carries. It's not usually on Zeri. I think this is some new Zeri tech that we haven't seen that often. But it could be incredibly strong, especially when you're 2-0-1 on the Zeri. You want to just push out as much damage as you can, and then the Berserkers is kind of what you expect. Again, just pushing out your Qs. I think you're an extended team fight champion when you're on this Zeri, so I'm not too surprised to see the Berserkers. And then for Blade of the Ruined King, she got reworked a lot. There was sometimes you'd see AP Zeri in the past, just along with her W, just able to use it like a Lux Q, a Lux ultimate. No longer the case. So I haven't seen this new Zeri, but I also haven't seen a lot of new Zeris with this new Worlds patch being so recent and with Zeri being not of such high presence. So, I mean, I'm interested to see what it does. If this is solely a Junisol build or if this is now the new tech as we go into another fight.
There's Lightning Crash prop from Junie Soul, Wish over top from Soraka to save his teammates, but it might be the Kane going down here. Umbral Trespass only buys a bit of time, and oh boy, the Zeri is running rampant. Insanes is the next target to fall. Lord Christo can only run for the hills, but this Zeri is fully unlocked and well, shut down by Loose Cannon. There's a big shutdown trade, and Soldier will be able to get one back. Actually gives it over to Iris Bounty Hunter, and the Shining Light defenders look more like attackers picking up a huge ace under the red side tower.
Yeah, that's the power of the Zeri with the ultimate. It just felt like she was lining them up and knocking them down, and just a fantastic job. It's what we wanted to see from the Misfortune last game, right? You wanted the Maokai, you wanted the Amumu to make sure that they felt comfortable. Did not happen. This game, it feels like the Olaf and the Nautilus and the Maokai are running frontline for this Zeri, and they're doing a great job of making sure she goes, you know, completely untouched. Obviously, she does die to the Ziggs, but they trade that out perfectly and it ends up being an ace. I did not see where the fifth kill went over. I'm not sure if we missed it or if just personally I missed it. But at the end of the day, you're happy with an ace. As now Fallen Void might try to run down Monkey. I'm not sure if he has the damage for this though.
Monkey does get a bit of a speed up from landing that first Q, but a cleaver does come across. Stridebreaker will slow down the Mundo, and he's dodging those things like dodgeball and the Baron pin, is able to walk right under tower. But we're at a nearly neutral state of game two, which is certainly exciting for fans of actual League of Legends. If we potentially go to a game three, and I can confirm to you that is both myself and Bonfire, but Monkey 3000 is going to have to look out for a play towards his top side. His Bounty Hunter is getting chased down by that ever so pesky Kane. The turn comes down and means Demonic Ascension has to come out for Insanes, but he's baiting all for the Kane. And on the other end, Mundo, looking like more of an executioner than a doctor, picks up Monkey 3000 the top lane, but here comes the response.
I
Soldier
don't
will get a turret with Rift Herald, as that's just all it's going to be. Bonfire, go right ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think it gets a second charge. Lord Christo was able to get that, you know, knock onto the back end of it. So good job making sure it doesn't get a second charge. I'd like to see the top lane again. I'm not sure how that went down. If I had to guess, just judging by how Monkeys played this matchup, did not give enough respect in the top lane, did not respect the damage from Fallen Void. But again, that's just me making assumptions, which you never really want to do. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, a really good job catching IRS Bounty Hunter out. They've done that a couple of times in this series as a whole. Last game as Silas, this game as Victor, and just does not have the damage nor the survivability to get out. So it never feels good losing two people across the map because it just goes to show that you are not rotating enough. And the Shining Light defenders are not, you know, making good on their last name. They're not going defending. They're attacking, and when you don't defend, you lose two members.
Well, the attacking might have to be the name of the game here. Is instead of looking at the replay and top lane, I want to ask you a question because when we talk about a composition playing against a Red Cane, playing against a Soraka and a Mundo, name of the game's got to be heel cut, right? And how many members should we expect Shining Light defenders to be rocking heel cut? The counter is currently two.
Yeah, right now you've only got two on the heel cut. Obviously, the Victor along with the Maokai. I'd like to see the Zeri pick it up. I'm not sure if it's as good in terms of the damage and the stats, but Zeri just pushes out so much poke that it's always going to be procking. Meanwhile, on the other side, I'm not really sure Maokai's always going to be procking it. The only way I could see that happening is with is with the saplings. But if you don't land the saplings, you're not proccing the anti-heal. So I'd like to see this area pick it up. Other than that, anything more,
Oh
it's just
no.
an int as Bounty Hunter might be inting right now.
Oh gosh, Fallen Void is as there's something has possessed this Mundo. It's now he just wants all the smoke and is chasing down Bounty Hunter. Maximum dosage is out healing the turret damage by just enough, and he picks up another solo kill on the Mundo. Look out, everybody! Fallen Void's got a bounty on Summoner's Rift now.
Yeah, the doctor doing a little bit more than diagnosing treatment. He's calling for some kills for himself, as now there might be calling for more kills in the top lane.
Now Monkey 3000's turn. He pops Ragnarok. He's landing those axes, and boy, does that just chunk out insane. So he immediately falls. Evo Tempest shows up, but he's on top of a ward, and that's going to allow Monkey 3000 to walk out. A pair of solo
Whoa.
kills for each of the top laners. And Loose Cannon, yeah, you can flash the champion mastery after narrowly dodging out on a Yoshiko hook.
Yeah, I think the most important thing to know is that this isn't a 5v5, this is a 1v1. This is just two top laners having a
Oh!
1v1.
This is not a 1v1 as Loose Cannon is immediately flashed on by Yoshiko, and Junisoul, thanks to the Nature's Grasp from his teammate, picks up a very critical kill onto Lord Christo, and now that means go, go, go for Baron Nashor. Monkey 3000 and company are chunking this thing down, and Yoshiko is waiting in the wings here. He's going to land the root onto Ziggs, and he's going to take the Blast Cone away from the
They have
enemy team,
vision.
but Evo Tempest does not care about your Blast Cones. He immediately jumps into the entirety of the team, has forced to use Umbral Trespass. That should be the first execute on the support. He gets a huge knockup onto the Olaf. He's getting chunked down. Baron's down to exactly 700. Make it 192. Who takes it? It's Junisoul. He secures it at the back end, and Insane's is not going to catch that pesky Zonian. Hold on a minute, though. He forces
good
a flash
flash.
over the wall, and that takes the flash away from Zeri. Action all across the Rift. Bounty Hunter, you gotta dodge, my friend. There's one. Can he drop the gravity field in time? The Chaos Storm shuts down the Mundo. You've gone too far, sir. Action all across the Rift. But somehow, there's a couple members standing on each side. Bonfire, what just happened?
Wish I could tell you. The best way I could describe it is Chaos Storm is, I mean, it's a perfect way to describe it. In the pit, they were trying to get that Baron. It went down to, I think, 127 is as low as it got before the Zeri was able to get it with an auto. Both junglers smiting for health as Evo was doing everything that he could, just killing one person, getting an assist on a second before finally falling. I think Just Loose Cannon just has to auto it a couple of times. We
Take
go to
me
a
through it,
replay.
man.
Yeah, let's go to a replay real quick. So first of all, Yoshiko with that ward, a great job of just pressing the go button, making sure to kill the support, and then it's, oh, okay, we got the support, we got the Soraka, we pushed off, we got vision everywhere. Yoshiko finds a good position in this push, and then takes the Blast Cone, which is, again, a really good idea because, hey, it keeps Evo away from it. Goes down to about 4,500, but they have a ward on it, so they know. Evo presses the go button, Just Loose Cannon is on the other side, and it's 4 versus 1 right now. He's able to get the kill, able to get one more. Monkey gets knocked up as well. It's going to go down to about 1,000. Evo getting incredibly low. Then he finally dies, but they find another kill. There it is at 700. They're fighting right now. He dies. It's down all the way to 114 until it finally goes down. Soldier trying to get away right now. He's not able to. He's like, maybe I'll be able to back and they won't know. Yeah, I think they know, my friend. He's able to get a root, but it doesn't matter. Actually, quite a bit of damage, but he ends up dying. I don't know how Bounty Hunter got into this situation. Again, looking like a cat on top of a tree, but he's able to just get chased down by Fallen Void, and Fallen Void doesn't utilize that second healing. The Gray Bar doesn't utilize the healing, and he dies from a tower shot. Just a bit of a misplay right there. Chaos across the entirety of the map, but at the end of the day, it is going to favor Shining Light defenders.
Yeah, they pick up the Baron thanks in hand to Junisoul, who's now quietly 7-1-2 as a Kraken Slayer and a Last Whisper and boot, but it's looking like Evo Tempest is going to dictate the tempo, I wanted to say, as he does actually walk away from the majority of the Shining Light defenders. The name of the
Dragon
game
30.
here, Bonfire, is
Dragon
probably going to
30.
be that Dragon 30 seconds.
They want to pick someone off so badly right now. At first, it was Evo looking at the bot side. Now, Monkey's in a bit of a precarious situation. He's just trying to lead them on a wild goose chase because right now the Dragon's in 15 and they're in their own second base. He's in there. He's popping ghosts just to. I mean, look at them. They're so distracted. They've lost the vision control and all of the Baron pit. And I talked about this in draft. How do they get in? How do they get into this fight now with the Graviton well from the Victor? They're trying to clear vision, but this is so difficult. If Soldier gets a good ult ultimate off, it could be just perfect, as right now they find the hook.
Yoshiko grabs a nice hook, drops Death Charge, but Junisoul, Lightning Crash, eviscerates the Soraka, kills trading back and forth. Insane's trapped in the gravity well. Evo Tempest can't get on top of this. Zeri, another double kill for him. Fallen Void and Ziggs will trade one back onto the Olaf. Health bars aren't looking too good, and Loose Cannon is healthy as possibly can be. He can keep lobbing those snowballs over the walls. He's trying to chunk down the enemies. Takes a Zeri W to the face. Bounty Hunter is zoning off Fallen Void. He's now feeling very powerful. He'll be able to walk away and recall. Loose Cannon is sticking right around, though. These Qs are doing so much damage. He nearly falls to the Omdries. The dragon is now down to 1,000 and is secured by Soldier. But here comes the teleport. This is Mundo on the flank. He immediately gets the spell immune popped. And now they're trying to trap. He flash cleavers forward. See you later, Bounty Hunter. And Loose Cannon is cutting off the other two. Can they find the shutdown onto Junisoul? She pops Ghost. She's running for the hills and finds her safety net in Nautilus. And yep, now Monkey 3000 has joined the fight with his own teleport. They find the shutdown of their own, and Loose Cannon is sent packing along with that first Cloud Drake.
They had to get those kills sooner, and they just couldn't find them. It was a fantastic job dodging, as Fallen Void now wants to see if he can find something else. I don't think he can, as it was just a really good job dodging because the health bars were coming back, as I might have to stop now. Even doesn't want to call this off, so I feel comfortable continuing to analyze that last fight. It was just unbelievable. The fight itself was crazy as could be. They could not find Junisoul as hard as they tried, as now they're going to stop the back. Does not matter. But they could not find Junisoul, and so Junisoul was able to mop them up. It was a 2-on-3 for the entirety of that fight. Yeah, thank you to production for helping me out with this one. So in this fight, it got started with the Nautilus hook. They find Lord Christo. They're able to burst Lord Christo down. So already it's a 4v5, but it was traded out immediately. So it's a 1-for-1 on support. But look at Junisoul on the back line, just keeping Evo away from everyone. Evo was the damage in game 1, couldn't be the damage in game 2, but the health bars are low. He did just enough to keep them low. And then this was just the extended fight the entire time.
Beat him up.
Just lobbing them out. An absolute dodgeball game like you talked about.
Ooh.
Bounty Hunter just getting incredibly low right here. I imagine he takes one right here. Lob, lob, lob. Boom. Does so much damage. Just gets the shield right here. I imagine if he doesn't get the shield, he burns down. So he gets the shield. They see the health bar and they're like, this is unbelievable. We cannot let this stand.
Swag
so
cleaver.
now they're saying it's a 2-on-3, but we can do this. Look at the health bars. They get the cleaver off. So okay, good. Now it's a 2-on-2. But again, look at the map. The Nautilus is roaming up. The Olaf just respawned with teleport. So they need to get these kills now. They're not able to. And at this point, this fight is completely over. Does not matter if you have Lord Christo at all, because the damage and the engage is there. They're able to find the Ziggs, and that was an incredibly decisive fight win for the side of Silver SLD.
Shining Light
Defenders.
They certainly shine their big brains in the fight there. Obviously, beautiful breakdown though. No, I'm not going to stop. I will not stop till somebody not named LJ Vogel 2 on Twitter adds me and tells me to stop making puns. So you can find me at Leo Silverman. You see the Twitter a bunch. If you want me to stop the puns, I will stop for the Risen Faithful. But regardless, this game is not stopping anytime soon. It's still a pretty big slugfest. I mean, yeah, sure, it's a 2K gold lead, but Bonfire at 27 minutes, how much does that actually mean?
It basically means nothing. I mean, the only thing that really matters is dragons, which is 2 for 2, which is turrets, which is 2-on-3. This game is really as tight as it could be. I think the wallets are a little bit more skewed when you look at the AD carry. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Because it's a 1,000 gold lead. The Zeri so incredibly strong. That shutdown will be so big for Primal Instinct to have, but they don't have it. You can also look at this Kayn being incredibly strong for Primal Instinct. Has a 2,000 gold lead if you look at the jungle matchup. So it's the Kayn and it's the Zeri that are the two that are basically we must kill them above everything else. I am a little worried about Insanes right now.
Oh, insane. 6 deaths already to his name. You can pop Zanya's, though. The Demonic Ascension healing does come through on top of it. Nature's Grasp hits 3, but now they've actually got Shining Light Defenders on the back foot as they'll back on off of the top lane. And Insanes, when I was about to claim him for his 7th death, actually does a pretty good job kiting off the onslaught.
Yep, keeps himself alive, waits for his team to come. Just a picture perfect Zanya's right there. You never want to use it if you know you're going to die, but if there's a chance that you could survive, that is when you go golden. He does a great job of staying alive. But I was just, just to finish my previous point, the pockets are huge for 2 specific members, one on each side. It's Kane and it's versus this Zeri, but you also have to be worried about Olaf possibly falling off. Building the Stride Breaker is going to be really good because one, he's able to chase down the squishies for the side of Primal Instinct, but two, because you're able to get that slow off. So even if you're personally not able to chase them down, you're giving your Zeri, you're giving your Victor an opportunity to land their damage a lot more consistently. So I think it's a really good job of knowing when your point is, when you know you're not going to be as good possibly, and building an item that doesn't only help yourself.
Yeah, certainly an item that helps the whole team out. I will say another sneaky pick that I saw there in the gold difference. Bounty Hunter is quietly about 2,000 gold up on Insane. So another matchup to watch is it's ballooning close. Yeah, two and
Two and two,
change.
two and change.
Two and change certainly is a good gap, but it's all culminating in what is now ballooned to a 4K gold lead for Shining Light Defenders as they've been able to knock down a lot of those turrets, outer turrets to be specifically. They're taking all three, and now these two teams starting to feel the tension with Baron Nashor on the cards once again, Bonfire.
Yeah, and with Dragon in 30 seconds, this is what it really has to come down to. I've talked time and time again about how this game could be decided by vision and by a good soldier ultimate. I would not be surprised if they try to set up in the Dragon Pit first. Right now, they're doing their due diligence. They're clearing out their waves. Fallen Void has no vision. Now he gets vision. Now he knows he's a
Hey,
bit
there we
safer.
go.
I was going to say he has to be careful because he has no clue where they were. But now they're setting up, again, this is what I'm talking about. They're setting up this vision control. If you're the side of Primal Instinct, how do you walk into this? Right now, they don't even want to. They're not even pressing the go button. They're waiting for the team to group up. Now they're finally grouping up, and now it's the side of Shining Light Defenders that are taking the initiative.
Yep, and now we're getting the good old fashioned fan standoff here around the river entrance. Zig's doing a good job with those zoning snowballs, those spiky snowballs, to keep Shining Light Defenders out, but they're wanting to come forward. They want to hit Bonfire's go button, and they can't decide if it's going to be onto that Cloud Drake or the enemy team. There's the big
Ooh.
Mega Bomb dropped, and it chunks Bounty Hunter pretty low, and that's enough to start the onslaught. Insane's eviscerates Victor to start. The Olaf will trade Ziggs right back, though, on the back line, and Junisol is able to stay alive just a bit longer, but with not a lot of health here. They're now chunking out the Cloud Drake. It goes down to about a couple hundred and is
Oh,
secured.
Evo.
But Kane goes forward. Evo jumps. Yoshiko can't find the kill. Fallen Void tries to knock down the AD carry. Low health bars aplenty, and it's going to be a huge Olaf shutdown originally. Evo Tempest is finally come alive. That's a double. Fallen Void trying to find a third for him, but that Zeri's so pesky. But with those kills secured, is the green light Baron now, Bonfire?
It has to be. It has to be. I don't think they're going to ever get a position where it's as strong as this one. Obviously, you have to worry about Junie Soul, but you push out mid lane right now and you have to go Baron because this is the win con. Right now, you're down about 2,000 gold. Instead, they're going it back. I have to say, I'm a little disappointed. I understand why. Evo just wants to get his camps. Junie Soul is going to check to make sure they're not going Baron. That fight was unbelievable. Junie Soul just had to play disengage the entire fight. It did not matter because Bounty Hunter was doing the damage that Junie Soul couldn't. As we're going to go to a quick replay, just an unbelievable fight. Insanes is going to start it, and you look at Junie Soul's position. He's not in this fight for the majority of it. It's just the Olaf fighting alone. He's able to get a kill, and Yoshiko was able to get Insanes as well. Insanes was pushed up really far, so it's a 3-on-4 right now. But look at Evo. Evo gets knocked up, but there's that Nautilus fight, ultimate out of the fight. He flashes in, wants to get the kill, gets uprooted, and now they want to go in on Lord Christo, but the good flash to get himself away. This is so close, but a really good ultimate to get that healing. And again, look at his health bar coming out of it. And then they hook him in. That's not what you want to do, Yoshiko. He doesn't know that, obviously. He's saying, I want to get him closer to Junie Soul, but he hooks him in, and, Evo's like, okay, great. Another target for me to get on top of. And the healing was just so unbelievable on this Kane. I take it back. Go heal cut on everybody. Go heal cut on everybody. Why not? When Kane does that much healing, you might need heal cut fivefold.
It certainly helps when you have a pockets of rocket too. That's the real differences in fights I've seen is that was the first fight where Lord Christo isn't eviscerated in the first 10 seconds, and Monkey 3000 probably wishes he had his own pocket Soraka, but does help that he has spell immutability with Ragnarok popped, and with the Kane showing on the bot side of the map, the green light for Starlight Defenders is Baron. They're going to try and chunk this thing down. Mundo's going to teleport over. Kane is waiting in the mid lane, and with the teleport and Kane imminent, Shining Light Defenders are going to back off, but Evo Tempest has other ideas. He's going to walk through the walls here and try and cut them off, but Starlight Defenders now have lost their own jungle, and you got to think, is that enough of a green light to go for Baron?
I don't know what a green light to go for. Maybe there is no Baron. Maybe we're all just hallucinating an idea of Baron because neither team feel comfortable enough pulling the trigger. It looks like they're going to clear vision, but yeah, I think they're just clearing vision here. Neither team wants to take Baron. Baron's a lonely boy, feeling like a moo right now. Is now Insanes might be caught out, gets slowed, but doesn't get killed. I think it was a good job, again, disengaging. I talked about it last game. You don't have to take Baron, right? Even if you get it to 3,000, if you're going to lose everybody on the back end of it, get the hell out of dodge. They do just that. Really good job making sure. But again, Primal Instinct, good job making sure they had to get the hell out of dodge. Pushing up, they thought they had two people in the bot lane, but the teleport, along with how quick Kane goes through walls, means that it was actually a 5-on-5, and the Ziggs bomb did so much damage to Bounty Hunter that they just had to call it off.
Yeah, these mega death bombs are so valuable, and that dragon fight what really chunked Junie Soul down to half was that bomb that dropped on both the carries. Is now we see
Go
Evo
Ghost, go
Tempest
Ghost.
is dropping on top of the Olaf. There's the mega bomb to do a bit of damage over top. Maw of Malmortius means nothing against the AD onslaught of Ross. And wasn't necessarily a solo kill, but a big kill nonetheless. And, yeah, sure, you lose your Olaf, but Starlight
have to go
Defenders
quick.
are greenlighting Baron once again. Watch the health bar. Down to about 3,000, 2,000. This should be picked up by Soldier and Will, but can they get out? Nature's Grass popped on the entirety of the river, and that's going to hit the entirety of the Primal Instinct squad. Evo Tempest trying to cancel backs, but it looks like they're going to get away with the Baron for a top laner trade.
Gonna get away with murder. They should have been more contested by that. But if you looked at the ball at where everyone was during that, they were just all in mid lane. And so they know that they can burst it down quick enough. Right now, Primal Instinct is desperately trying to find something across the map. They're just waiting in their jungle, hoping that someone walks up into it. I'm not sure that someone is, and that's a disaster if you're Primal Instinct. It felt like a good game state, but this could really blow it open.
Well, how about this flank, though, to maybe blow open the mid push as they'll be forced into the jungle, the Shining Light Defenders, of course, and Olaf will teleport in. I'm curious if they actually want to fight over this. We're doing a bit of ramming here late into game 2 as Insanes will be pushed off the mid wave, and now the Baron-powered blue side minion brigade will rush right up mid, and it looks like the call is, let's secure Soul Point for ourselves. We're willing to trade some assets, but those assets are pretty valuable. The mid-tier 2 falls, and the inhibitor turret can't be long for the world either, is completely taken down. You're seeing that on the other side, Evo Tempest is going to secure the Soul Point by himself, but at what cost, right? They're still bleeding resources. Shining Light Defenders pick up an inhibitor and 2 turrets, but can they get out? Oh my god, Bounty Hunter nearly blows up the backline his own, and now they're going to go forward, but Evo Tempest, has he found a quality flank? Umbral Trespass onto Judy Soul. Still hasn't died since we've hyped them up and will not die here. Bounty Hunter in the lane near red buff eviscerates Insanes. Evo Tempest will get knocked up, but Judy Soul on the other side finds the Ziggs and is shut down by Fallen Void. But will it be enough as he will get taken out by this very strong Victor? A beautiful hook from Yashiko finds the Soraka. A shutdown on Evo Tempest. And the ace, and has to be the nexus for Shining Light Defender.
It's not a best of 5, but you get what I'm saying. We're going to another game. Olaf's going to the grave. Does not matter. Shining Light Defenders defends this series, and they secured themselves a game 3. What a fight there at the end with the Zeri. Just staying alive long enough to kill the Ziggs right before she fell herself. But she did her job. The Ziggs was pushing out so much damage is what she needed to do. It's so interesting because we thought Junie Soul was the carry that they needed in every single fight, but it turns out the real carry that we made along the way was the entirety of the team. They just played so well, so in sync. I don't think there was one player that I can say played better than everybody else on their team. That is just a team diff.
Well, Bounty Hunter certainly absolutely slayed that fight. I mean, he immediately chunked out the Soraka and Ziggs in a matter of 1 Chaos Storm and Death Ray, and was able to pick up the final couple of kills despite Junie Soul falling. But man, what an absolute banger for game 2. I hope everybody's sticking with us at home, because not only have we been embarrassed once again with a prediction as Shining Light Defenders take game 2, we have extra League of Legends in store for you on this Tuesday night. So don't go anywhere, because we're going to take one more break, and on the other side, we'll get into game 3 draft between Primal Instinct and Shining Light Defender.
know where like the cleavage is, where like the boobs touch? Or supposed to touch?
No, I've never touched a woman.
Cat Everfrost used not gonna quite hit. There goes a 5-man shield there. Rax going to get caught up in the baby cage. That's going to be a 3-man shockwave in the backline with a big face breaker. That's going to be a showstopper right there. That's
Can't get slowed when he was in Pike's Eve. I've seen. Nice. Okay. Okay then. I'm gonna try to get you the penta honestly. You ever know? You can't die with it. It's gonna get dogged.
You can go. I mean, I have flashing. A second.
Oh my god! Have any teleports on the side of CCW. They might try to go for a pick here. Vox Prime has to be careful. Doesn't know they're all there. This could be the pick they want, but you have to be careful as well, though. They're gonna burst him down. Vox Prime dies before anyone else can go in. They don't get the second call of the force guy. And here we go. Here comes the Vlad. Keep an eye on the Vlad. Vlad on the back line. There's the double knockout. Keep an eye on the Vlad. Vlad gets one of them. Vlad's able to get two of them unbound. He's gonna survive on the back end of it, but they're gonna be able to kill the Anivia. And there's two dead on the side of CCW. And they get more. There's the Vlad. Can they get the knockup on Asthmatic Boy? Can he get the blast kill? No, he can't. He's gonna fall incredibly low. They're gonna keep going in. Team Shooter is gonna be able to get the root. They're gonna try to find more. They're gonna find everyone. But there's the kill. Unbound. He's doing it all. Unbound is doing it all. Give it out. Unbound. Unbound's killing them all. Unbound is winning this game.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Okay.
They're definitely gonna get it, but I think we win the team fight.
Nice.
Oh, maybe they don't.
Get it!
Like, you know where like the cleavage is, where like the boobs touch? Or supposed to touch?
No, I've never touched a woman.
Cat Everfrost used not gonna quite hit. There goes a 5-man shield there. Rax going to get caught up in the baby cage. That's going to be a 3-man shockwave in the backline with a big face breaker. That's going to be a showstopper right there. That's
Can't get slowed when he was in Pike's Eve. I've seen. Nice. Okay. Okay then.
Well, I hope you got as much rest as you possibly could in about 2 minutes. My vocal cords certainly enjoyed it after an absolute banger game 2 where we saw the side of Shining Light Defenders find a clapback game against Primal Instinct and Bonfire. We have to honestly. I'm starting to have to Giga Chad braid my picks. Maybe I'll just say the team that I actually think is going to lose out loud for our next predictions after the series we've had today.
I have a quarter in my right hand. I'm just gonna flip it and hope for the best because we have been proven wrong again and again. I'm just not sure. I mean, I think my heart or my brain was telling me Shining Light, but my gut was telling me Primal last game. And I just went with my gut. But maybe I trust the brain. But in game 1, the brain was wrong. I don't know. The whole body's all out of whack for me.
We both fully confidently thought that.
Well, but that was because they played it so well.
Evo Tempest. We both fully thought Evo Tempest would carry.
Yeah.
I don't think this gut brain stuff. I think they were in sync. I think I think we're just wrong.
I was on record saying that if Evo Tempest doesn't get all the AD out in the world, then it was going to be an issue. You have the record logs. We have the technology.
All right, man. If you want to scapegoat a bad pick, go ahead. Nonetheless, though, we will be getting set for a game 3 here very soon. So, what do you even change? Do you get rid of the Kane, or is it getting a bit more AD outside of Evo Tempest that you want to see from the side of Primal?
Well, we're starting to get an idea of how both teams like building their comp. So I think that's the thing is, in Divine League, it's not always about, oh, this champion's the best, we have to pick them. It's a lot of what's our win con? And it seems like for Primal Instinct, it's don't focus on the bot lane, throw a carry in the mid lane, throw a carry in the jungle, go top tank, and go bot, just scale. And that is their win con. It didn't work last game, but it worked in the first game, and they still put up a good fight in the second game. So I'd imagine they go something similar. I don't expect we'll see a hard carry, AD carry. It was Zig's second game. In the first game, it was Seraphine. Again, I expect another scaling AP carry or something of that sort. I do think you have to switch off the Kane, but I think you keep the same idea and you go with another carry in the jungle, maybe a Belveth, maybe you go with something like a Graves. You need that hard carry jungler because I think that's what Evo does best.
Aloya, hold that L. Just want to say that because you said Belveth.
It
NA
is
over EU, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways.
It is very Aloya-esque of just like...
Oh, yeah.
You want your jungler to do most of your damage. It's a lot like Mad Lions, although we did see how that turned out for them this game. Hashtag NA on top.
Ugh, man, NA fans are gonna become insufferable. Well, we have two NA teams.
The copium.
We have two NA teams set here for our third and final draft as we're getting through bans. Keep in mind, once again, I want to remind everybody at home, Shining Light Defenders, Primal Instinct do not have their final 2 bans of the first phase. Now, they decide only to get rid of Junie Souls, Zeri, and you gotta think that's a pretty smart ban after what we just saw in game 2.
Yeah, but they're leaving the Trundle open, and so they were really worried about the Trundle in the first 2 games. Leaving the Trundle open means that their usual style of picking themselves a top tank suddenly becomes a lot more difficult because, yeah, you pick the Ornn, okay, that's great. Now Trundle's unkillable, so it becomes... It just becomes difficult. He steals the stats. And so I think that's their biggest concern is that, yeah, you can ban out the Zeri, but I would imagine they either pick the Trundle or they try to first pick Trundle. I mean, that's what they're going to have to do because I think Shining Light Defenders, I would wager maybe some money on it that Trundle is going to be picked up for them.
Well, Victor is the hot button issue after being on the winning side of both of our games here for Showcase at the Divine League. So we will get to see Insane helm the mad scientist of Piltover once again. I will say, though, Shining Light Defenders, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They have the same exact bans, and they're now going to steal away a pick, potentially, as the clock ticks down. Is it Ziggs locked in? I think that's locked in, so wow. Trade of picks despite how the state of Game 2 went.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I think that Junisol did a really good job on Zeri. I'm surprised they don't want to run it back on another hard carry, AD carry. In the first game, Misfortune didn't work out, but in the second game, Junisol a lot of times was keeping them in the fight. So kind of negating Junisol to more of an off role on AD carry feels interesting to me, but I also understand that the Ziggs pushed out so much damage. It can be so strong. Playing with the Nautilus is very confusing to me because you're laning is all sorts of out of whack. Nautilus wants to go early. Ziggs wants to wait.
I will say, to play devil's advocate, this could be Bounty Hunter
Mm,
picking up Ziggs. Could
Good
still
point,
send
good
Ziggs
point.
middle, and you can pick it because you know Victor is going mid Primal Instinct. So we could see the Ziggs helm the mid lane against Victor, and it makes sense. I mean, it's certainly hard to get on top of Victor. The ideology for beating him early game is pick an assassin that can all in him, or pick somebody that can outrage him. And there are a few champions that do that, Bonfire, but Ziggs does have that in his arsenal.
Yeah, Ziggs is good against Victor. You're able to push out the waves. I think the biggest concern with Victor is if you go someone who doesn't have that much wave clear, you're always going to get your waves pushed in. So if it went mid, I would understand. It's going to be the Karma and the Ornn picked up for the side of Primal Instinct, which I like. I mean, I don't think you can dislike those two champions. They're just great team fighters. Good early game on Karma. Good for having an AD carry. And then Ornn is Ornn. So I don't think you could ever hate having an Ornn on your team.
Ornn is indeed Ornn, but does open the door still for that Trundle pick. Here's the top lane counter, though, is Trundle will still be available. I'm intrigued because it now can get banned out by Primal Instinct if they lock in the Darius, and they do lock in one of the greatest Noxian warrior in Legends lore history. Certainly a pretty big counter for the Ornn, though. Early game at least.
Yeah, Darius is just going to feast on this Ornn in the top lane. That's most top laners, I think, feel pretty comfortable going into Ornn. But Darius especially just does so much damage. And, I mean, I get it. You're going into a Victor. You're going into a Karma. You want to slam some heads. So I also think Darius was, you know, a champion that was targeted a lot in the second ban phase of the previous two games. So picking it early might feel more important than picking up the Trundle, especially if you think they're not going to ban it again or if you think it doesn't fit your team comp. Kane being banned out, can you say you're surprised?
I certainly am not, as they're also hovering another jungle ban, and I would wager Trundle is going to be the fourth ban. Wow. I am a mind reader, ladies and gentlemen. Will immediately be banned through for Primal Instincts, so no repeat junglers. The one thing we had across both games 1 and 2 was the same jungle choices for Soldier and Evo Tempest. Neither of them are on the cards, but certainly a pretty good counter pick, or you know, backup pick. That's the word I was looking for the Maokai is the Sejuani.
Sejuani's so strong right now, and there's a whole host of different reasons. You can talk about her CC, you can talk about the tankiness that she has. I actually want to touch on the damage because I think it goes unnoticed how much damage the Sejuani puts out. You don't expect it out of all the tanks that you can pick, but Sejuani does a fair amount of damage. That is a huge switch up of style. That is a massive switch up. I am pretty surprised.
Vayne Gaming. Wow. Yeah, that is the call your shot.
What is going on?
Is this master level play or is this me and Bonfire queuing up for a hard stuck gold solo queue game? Oh my god. What do you make of this, man? Like what?
Actually, I think I'm actually more surprised because one, you pick Yi into a Sejuani Nautilus, so that's interesting. Two, two, it's such a switch up for them. In the first two games, it was like the bottom lane doesn't really matter that much. We're focusing on, you know, mid and jungle, and this game it's Karma mid? No, Victor mid, excuse me. Victor mid, so I guess that's more usual. A Yi into CC. Vayne is completely different for the AD carry of Primal Instinct. It's just a whole tone switch. It's just very interesting to me.
It's really intriguing in the response pick, and folks, you rarely see this, but an R580 carry pick was locked in here from the Shining Light Defender side. They will lock in Aphelios. So now we go back to the caster desk as we get set for the client side draft. And I am going to make us do predictions here now as we're sitting here. so Bonfire, we'll get out of the way. I mean, you're just reacting to these comps, and you know the state of the series. Who are you going with?
I don't know.
That's tragic because you have to pick.
I have to pick. I'm going to go Shining Light Defenders. I think Primal Instinct is switching things up just a little bit too much in my eyes. I also touched on how I think he's going to struggle going into such a CC heavy comp of having that Nautilus, of having that Sejuani. I think he's just going to struggle. I also think Aphelios does a pretty good job of being able to disengage from a Yi. Having his gun, purple gun up is just going to be incredibly strong because you're just going to be able to self-root a Yi on, you know, without having to land a skill shot. So I think that's pretty strong. So I'm going to have to go Shining Light Defenders, but yeah, I mean, it's hard to choose because we haven't really seen these styles from both teams.
So here's what I'll say.
Okay.
I think the Primal Instinct bot lane will feast. Mainly
Okay.
because I think a Karma has a sneaky amount of early game damage. It's not even funny. And
Yeah.
you'll see Lord Christo helm the Karma. And I think it plays really well in the Nautilus. I think Vayne, Felios, you know, yeah, the range is on the side of the Aphelios, but he can't punish a Vayne as best as So I think the bottom lane will go side of Primal Instinct. But I cannot get over picking a Master Yi into Sejuani. Like Evo Tempest, you're gonna have to be a magician with the timing of these Qs, these alpha strikes. I was in alpha, that reference. Anyways, I'm gonna go Shining Light Defenders because
Okay.
I think that they have enough in the team fight to lock down the Yi coming at him, and this team has to go forward. At least their jungler does. So I will agree with you.
Yeah, and
I
the
think
Yi,
Shining Light Defenders get it back.
the Yi also has to build LDR, right? Like, I think, I mean, am I crazy for saying the Yi probably has to build some tank shred? Because I think that becomes an issue late game when you can't get through the front line. Yi has to get to the back line, or at least do considerable damage to the front line. If he's not able to do so, it's a problem. And that itemization, I don't know. The Yi pick is really intriguing for me. I think it's going to make or break the side of Primal Instinct. If the Yi goes off, game one. If the Yi gets shut down, game lost. I think that is my prediction.
That's usually what you get with a Master Yi.
Yeah, I mean,
At
that's,
least at our level of Elo,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
necessarily a higher level of Elo than we expect. Well, all the champions are locked in here, so take me through. You know, the top lane is very obvious,
sure.
what we expect, but do you think the quietest lane is going to be the mid lane matchup?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a given. Unless Yi or Sejuani have something to say about it, I think both of these mid laners are going to just ping their jungler like, please don't come over here, I'm scaling. I think top lane is going to be a battle. I mean, both of these top laners, neither are ranged, neither have any ranged abilities. Both have a little bit of CC, and both want to battle quite a bit. Ornn is quietly a battler. I don't think people realize, but Ornn kind of excels in trades when he's able to trade effectively, and so I think that Fallen Void is just going to be looking for every trade that is going to work towards his advantage, and I think Monkey is going to look to fight anytime he can, which is every second of the game. So I just expect a lot of battling in the top lane, no battling in the mid lane, and I think bot lane is my biggest question mark.
Yeah, I mean, you rarely see the Vayne Karma is a pairing that you don't necessarily always see with the Vayne. I will see a Felios Nautilus is pretty button on the nose, you know what I mean? That's definitely a pick that goes hand in hand together. I'm curious if we'll get a look at summoners, because I'm curious what this Darius run.
I would imagine. Okay, I was gonna
Ghost Flash. Yeah,
I was gonna say Ghost Ignite, but Ghost Flash is also good.
The gall to run Ghost Ignite. That'd be crazy.
It's spicy. It's spicy, but especially into a Yi, it allows you to, negate his healing. Yi, I think to nobody's surprise, is gonna go Ignite. Yi wants to get on the map early. And then, we talked a lot about how heal is not that important anymore. Vayne goes heal. Aphelios goes Ghost. So, interesting summoners.
Fun fact for you, Bonfire. Would you like me to indulge? You'll enjoy.
I don't think I have a choice.
Okay, you did. The team with the most Ghost summoners used is undefeated in this season.
Huh.
If you remember, Shining Light Defenders had 3 members rocking Ghost, and they won, and now it's 2 versus 0. So we'll see how that dictates it. In all reality, doesn't dictate a whole lot. We'll have to see, though, to figure out how much it does. We'll go back to good old-fashioned Runeterra, though. It's the final game of our Week 2 showcase here for the Divine Fall 2022 split. Don't go anywhere. The final match is right on the horizon.
Like, you know where, like, the cleavage is? Where, like, the boobs touch? Or supposed to touch?
No, I've never touched a woman.
Cat Everfrost used not gonna quite hit. There goes a 5-man shield there. Price Rack's going to get caught up in the baby cage. That's going to be a 3-man shockwave in the backline with a big face breaker. That's going to be a showstopper right there. That's
Can't get slowed when he was in Pike's game. I have to. Nice. Okay. Okay then. I'm gonna try to get you the penta honestly. You have one more? You can't die with him. It's gonna get dog.
Can go. I mean, I have flash in a second.
Oh my god! Suddenly teleports on the side of CCW. They might try to go for a pick here. Box Prime has to be careful. Doesn't know they're all there. This could be the pick they want, but you have to be careful as well, though. They're gonna burst him down. Box Prime dies before anyone else can go in. They don't get the second call of the force guard. And here we go. Here comes the Vlad. Keep an eye on the Vlad. Vlad on the back line. There's a double knockout. Keep an eye on the Vlad. Vlad gets one of them. Vlad's able to get two of them unbound. He's gonna survive on the back end of it, but they're gonna be able to kill the Anivia. And there's two dead on the side of CCW. And they get more. There's the Vlad. Can they get the knockup on Asthmatic Boy? Can he get the blast kill? No, he can't. He's gonna fall incredibly low. They're gonna keep going in. Team Junior is gonna be able to get the root. They're gonna try to find more. They're gonna find everyone. But there's the kill. Unbound. He's doing it all. Unbound is doing it all. Give it out. Unbound. Unbound's killing them all. Unbound is winning this game.
Okay. That's good.
They're definitely gonna get it, but I think we win this one, guys.
Nice.
Oh my god.
Get it!
It's time to grab all of the bragging rights possible for this week 2 matchup between Primal Instinct and Shining Light Defenders. It is game 3 in what has been an absolutely fun to the nines series here, Bonfire, and it wouldn't be a Primal Instinct versus Shining Light Defenders series if we didn't have both teams trying to find a level 1 angle.
They're passing like ships in the night. They're both gonna find nobody there, although it does look like Shining Light Defenders are actually going to keep pushing up. So they're at least going to get an idea of, no one's topside. And then they might expect that there's an invade coming. In fact, I would expect them to be very cautious about their own jungle, seeing nobody top.
Ships passing in the night, are we sure they're not like 100 kilometers away from each other, though, if they're with what the path they took for invading?
Ships passing on different oceans in the night. That's a much better analogy.
Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, like, those invades, they couldn't be further apart, right?
They didn't even, Primal Instinct didn't even invade. They just, 5-stack tri-bush.
Sure.
Now they brought 4 down to, clear their own jungle out to make sure that they had some vision. Now they're saying, well, maybe there's a ward here. All in all, very interesting early game.
Interesting early game, but the always coveted vision battle is going the side of the Shining Light Defenders, who, for everybody keeping track at home, Bonfire Slayer prediction duo is 0 for 4.
Yeah.
We did back the Shining Light Defenders, so if we're a bad jinx, we're about to figure it out now as we finally get minions crashing into wave set here. I got to shout out a bounty hunter. There's a lot of interesting Zig skins to pick, and I don't even think I have time as Monkey already establishing that he is the king of the realm of this top lane so far.
Yeah, but he took a tower shot right there, which I think is going to give Evo. Yeah, it's going to give Evo the opportunity to possibly go for a gank here. I think he was spotted. So Monkey giving him the respect that he deserves, but I don't think he's going to expect this.
Keep him Void. Keep him. Fallen Void just hit level 2 here, so the Ghost is immediately pop for Darius. He's just going to try and run right down River. He's able to avoid the knockup from Ornn, but look at the bodies that are about to crash in here. Insane tries to cut off the Darius, but Soldier and Bounty Hunter move over to cover him, and we have a good old-fashioned 3v3 in the jungle that is just a staring contest.
Yeah, I think you always love when the combined CS of the top laners at 3 minutes is 3. That's it's always fun. That's both of these top laners just want to hit each other a lot and don't actually want to CS. It's PvP, right? It's not PvE. That's what League is, and they're living by that.
They certainly are living by that as Monkey 3000 able to grab level 3 there. I think he went for a pull, but then stoppable form of Ornn when he's got that Dragon's Breath rolling. Means that he does not get pulled back in. And if you've been keeping track on this series, well, yeah, you get a lot of early action from both junglers, and Evo Tempest is trying to claim Monkey 3000. He still got Flash. He only lost Ghost, and he has no gap way to slow him down. Fallen Void will flash to try and get the knockup, but is Evo Tempest too far under turret? Yes, he is. Soldier claims first blood on the regank, and now Monkey 3000 is going to try and chase the Fallen Void without Flash. You mentioned it. There's the spinning blade, and Soldier grabs a second kill. Monkey 3000 may not have gotten the kills, but he certainly got a lead in the top lane.
It was so close on that last kill. He must have survived with barely any CS. He's going to be able, or not any CS, any health. He's Fallen Void is going to be able to teleport back in so he doesn't lose this top wave. And what that really was just Monkey knowing that Yi's going to hop on top of him. And with Yi hopping on top of him, he can just flash underneath the turret, make him take some tower shots. And he's telling Soldier, like, come here, we've got a free kill once I flash under turret. Does a great job of locking up the Yi under tower. And that's the issue with the Yi that we talked about. If Yi gets CC'd, it just renders him pretty useless, as Insane's has to be careful, just walks himself out of this one.
Yeah, but here comes Yakuo, who flashes right, Yoshiko, excuse me, flashes right forward, but forces the flash from Insane's. We get a little bit of an early replay here on that first blood.
Yeah, look at Monkey. He's running right now, and he's telling him, you know, if you go on me, I'm going to go under tower. Flash is under tower. Then he gets the slow and the pull. So he takes two tower shots. Excuse me, Fallen Void takes one of them. But they just have the damage, and now they're just running down Fallen Void. There's just no world where he survives here. But he's thinking, maybe I can take down Monkey with me. The Brittle brings him so incredibly low, but it almost doesn't matter of League of Legends, and he's going to be able to survive, and it's 2 for nothing.
2 for nothing indeed, as the Shining Light Defenders are trying to make the first mini reverse sweep of the fall split of Divine League here. And I do want to point out for all the historians here for Divine League, Bonfire, we've certainly had our fair share of standout Darius players.
Oh yeah, no, we've had some unbelievable Darius players. You think back to the finals last split, where there was the Darius pentakill to win them the series. Team Ambition Black just winning the series off of the pentakill from I Am Sam. That's just what you get in Risen League. This, you know, I'm gonna say it's the best amateur league for Darius mains in the world. I'm just gonna go out there and say it.
What a niche window.
It's a little niche window, but if you're a Darius main who wants to compete at a semi-pro level, you know, Risen's got you.
Risen has gotten you covered, and there's also got its viewers covered with a very bombastic series so far that's been decently tamed in Game 3 right now. I mean, 2 kills early on, but across the series, I feel like we're averaging at least 4 kills by 6 minutes.
Yeah, we're averaging a good 40 viewership, so we appreciate all 40 of you watching in, whether you're a family, significant other of the players, or you just want to watch some good amateur league. We're here for that. What
about people that want to watch us?
Nobody's here to watch us.
True.
Maybe someone's here to watch us. I'd be surprised. If you're here to watch us, thank you, and we appreciate your continued viewership. Enough ads. This has been a fantastic series. I think both teams are just worried about overstepping, as right now the bot lane of Ooh, SLD has to be careful of overstepping, as now they're going to see that there's coming for them.
Yep, Yi gets sped up by Karma. The root will land onto Yoshiko, who does not have flash, remember, and Lord Christo claims a victim. Not always the best get the kill onto the Karma, but it is a response kill for Primal Instinct nonetheless.
Yeah, Yoshiko just does not have the flash available at the very end of that, falls incredibly early. Just an incredible job. I think the Karma did a great job of getting that root off, just staying with him the entire time, utilizing her flash along with his flash to make sure that he's rooted up, and there's just nothing that he can do, as now Junisol does have to be careful.
Junisol hit by another root. There's a mantra-empowered Q. Loose Cannon fires forward with that dash. You'll flash under turret, and the Condemn is enough to grab a very valuable kill in the bottom lane. Oh boy, the Yi might not be rolling yet, but the Vayne is certainly comfortable now.
Yeah, Junisol with a bit of an interesting walk-up, just no reason to continue to push up that far. I think Junisol expected to survive a little bit longer. All the subs utilized. Oh, Yoshiko, so close. I think, you know, the Felios expected to live a little bit further than that, but even if you expect to live, I said it in the last game, you just have to play with care. You'd rather be safe than sorry, and I think he's pretty sorry right now.
I bet he wishes he was playing, sorry, the board game, not apologizing for real, but Summoner's Rift is a whole nother game of its own so far, and game 2 is pretty close. I mean, 2 is the name of the game. It's actually game 3. I'm losing my figurative mind trying to churn out puns. It's 2 apiece in the kill department. The gold is 200 different between the Shining Light Defenders and Primal Instinct. So, Bonfire, what should we expect going forward as we start to shift into some ultimates available on the Rift?
I'll tell you what I did expect. I expected you to say it's also Tuesday, but you didn't. So you left it up to me. So I had to say it. Thank you. I'm very happy with that one. What do I expect on the Rift so far? I expect more madness. I think both of these teams want to disrupt things. I think it's unfortunate that both of the kills... Ooh, Yoshiko inching forward. I think it's unfortunate that both of the kills are on the Sejuani for Shining Light Defenders. I think they wish it could be on different players, but it is what it is. I kind of think that Soldier needs to get more done on the map, because you have the early advantage when you're on the Sejuani. You obviously want to make sure the Yi's just not able to run rampant. And I just haven't seen the Sejuani on the map really at all since we saw in that early gank. So I think that Soldier needs to have more of a presence on the map right now.
I'll play Devil's Advocate. Soldier is sporting a pretty confident CS lead right now that's up to about 13, maybe 14 when she claims the red buff. Tempest, though, not on the Kane, but still pretty active in these lanes. It's certainly a different strategy with Yi of kind of hovering and waiting for a moment to go forward. As we get our minute check-in on mid lane, no surprise, all about farming, baby.
Yeah, this is what I expected. Is Soldier might be pressing the go button soon, but you have to be careful because Yi's there as well. They don't know that, of course, but we do. And so we're all biting our nails. Luckily, both of them pass like ships in the night. I just love that saying.
Try that again.
I really love that saying. It's such a fun saying.
It's been maybe 9 minutes since you used it last.
I used it tongue-in-cheek. The viewers know that.
All right, I'm done referencing the viewers. They can just enjoy the League of Legends action as we do get a bit of a look at the sort of mind of these players, right? When it comes to high-level League of Legends, it's all about wave management, especially when there's not a lot of kills going on. And you get a look at Loose Cannon, who's doing a pretty good job at setting up a freeze. So you don't always get to an in-depth look at wave patterns, but they serve a very important purpose in the early game, Bonfire.
Yeah, the waves are doing it. Both teams are utilizing their wave management in the top lane. It's the Ornn, actually, surprisingly, giving himself a little bit of a CS advantage, as Monkey's going to have to roam down to help get this Rift Herald. They're pulling the support as well, so this should just instantly go over to Shining Light Defenders. If Primal Instinct wants to contest this, they are going to die. But now they want to possibly go for something in the top lane.
Here's the real contest. It's going to be on the Fallen Void, who immediately has to flash. There's Call the Forge God. He pops it on top of Monkey, but Noxie and Guillotine waits for no man. A beautiful kill in the top lane, and we go to bot for the response. Lord Christo once again gets a good root on Junisol, but Evo Tempest is not Zeri. He's Master Yi and can't get over that wall to pursue the kill further. And the Shining Light Defenders, they grab a really good charge of Shelly. along with a huge solo kill, and it doesn't help that Ziggs is chunking down the bot wave. They're going to pick up first third here, Bonfire.
That Ziggs ult was so critically important. It makes sure that they cannot get too much. Meanwhile, on the top lane, they're just doing better. They said, you know, anything you can do, we can do better. You want to take bottom turret? We're just going to do it better. They're going to get a second charge, I imagine, off of this as well, especially if Monkey pushes this. I'm not sure if he's going to. No, it doesn't look like he's going to. I was going to say they could get a second charge off of it if Monkey was able to root up Fallen Void. He does not, but now there's a fight.
Oh my god, we flash into mid lane, and Insane is just dead. He gets collapsed on by another good 3-man play. Yoshiko is all over the Rift right now, roaming on Nautilus, and it's a valuable solo kill in a lane that we thought would be an absolute snooze fest.
Yeah, and this is the thing. This is why it's so important that you macro, you know, incredibly well. There was a couple of games ago, I can't remember if it was game 1 or 2, where there was, I think, like an 11 kill advantage, and it was only a 3,000 gold difference. It's almost a 3,000 gold difference, and that's because they were able to get that first turret. We look towards this replay again, Insane's, why are you there? I think he was questioning it too, but a really good ultimate from the Sejuani locks him up, and then at that point, the CC was just all there. I think he just didn't have the wave. He was waiting for waves to push up, and they did a fantastic job on Shining Light Defenders to punish that.
Beautiful job there. Beautiful Glacial Prism from Soldier. Predicted the juke up there from Insanes and steps right into the waiting arms. Pretty cold arms, I would say, from the Sejuani. But yeah, Shining Light Defenders are now sitting on a pretty comfortable gold lead. And, you know, I know last game at 30 minutes we talked about 2K doesn't mean too much, but 12 minutes means a whole lot more.
Yeah. And I think I don't, excuse me, sorry. I don't think the gold difference, or excuse me, the kill difference is really what is telling the story. It's the tower. It's the fact that they're just doing a great job of absorbing pressure. At this point, the CS advantage has gone back over to Darius by getting that first tower. I imagine the gold is completely skewed. They have to be careful not to overstep with Evo there. They don't have vision there, so I imagine they're going to play safe, as there's the flash.
Ooh, flash forward root first forces Junisol to flash as well, as the Highlander is popped by Master Yi, and Yoshiko's able to just hook his own tower and get out of there. The strength right now for Primal Instinct is the bottom lane, and I will toot my own horn and say, I told you so.
Okay, that's fair. I respect that. Junisol's doing a good job right here of making sure that he can get some camps, but he does have to be careful because they do have this warded. He's going to go over the wall.
There's the flash away from Yoshiko, but he just leaves his 80 carry for his own demise. Aphelios reaching ahead out to Nautilus, but only finds a gray screen as Evo Tempest. And what isn't the Kane, but it's the Yi with another very valuable kill. I will say, Primal Instinct, they're getting the kills onto the high-value targets nonetheless.
Yeah, but they're not moving the pendulum at all. I understand that they're getting them onto the correct targets, but it's still a 2,000 gold difference, and that's because they're losing camps in the top side. They're chunking down this tier 2 right now. They're pushing. They're going to lose this tower in the bot wave. That should finally start to move the gold difference a little bit, and that was a great pick that they got onto the Aphelios, but it's just great cross-map, as now Insanes has to be careful.
I guess we're not allowed to watch a mid lane contest until each member is at least 25% HP. And topside, there was a dive on the Fallen Void. I'm assuming Noxie and Guillotine claimed another victim, as the Darius is now sitting on a bounty along with the Sejuani. The answer will be the bot outer, as Lord Christo will once again get another valuable slow to set up a root, but Ghost on Aphelios means he's zooming on out of there. Junisol will not fall. But I wonder, let's see, can we get a replay? What happened topside?
I have no clue. I just looked up top and there was a dead god. So that was interesting. Finally, I think, is this the replay that we want? No, it's actually the mid lane. So we can see right now, Insanes and Bounty Hunter just scrapping it out. What we actually didn't expect, funny enough, we just expected them to not really want to scrap it out. Now on the top side, it's just a Picture X dive. They get the damage off. It looks like the flash got the Sejuani away because the tower might have killed her. So it does a fantastic job. I mean, that's just a picturesque dive, right? You CC him up as much as you can and just push out that damage. And now Darius is 2-0-2. And now it's difficult for Vayne, because if you're Vayne, that's just kind of a disaster.
I will say, here comes Monkey 3000 doesn't roll off the tongue like here comes I Am Sam. I'll say that before it happens.
The play is similar, though.
The play style very similar. The build path very similar here for Monkey 3000.
The name not that similar.
The name not that similar, but we're once again back to the game is still in the jaws of either team, and you expect that in game 3s, in game 5s, the pressure builds a bit, and these two teams they play with a bit of caution, And yeah, sure, it's 8 kills at 15 minutes, but if you watch game 1 and 2, that is under the normal bar set by both squads.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to come down to Insanes and Bounty Hunter probably picking their team and saying like, I don't want to fight yet. I don't want to fight yet. You know, both of these mid laners are just waiting for their respective power spikes, and so I imagine they don't want to take a full 5-on-5 team fight until they both feel comfortable. A little bit of handshaking going on, just vision trading and fighting in the mid or the bot and the top side, which we expected. Both junglers doing a good job to get themselves in a good position respectfully, as Junisol might be pushed out a little bit right now.
Oh, Aphelios, no matter what gun you could pull out, the Chaos Storm will rain down on you, and Sains earns a well-deserved patient kill onto Junisol there to help him spur a bit of a gold lead back into his own. But Bounty Hunter, utilizing Zig's ability to just chunk towers out, will knock down the mid-outer. As we see, Fallen Void teleports down as the Infernal Drake lands, and we could have our first real big fight here, but it's looking like Shining Light defenders, they're 4v5, they're willing to just give it and trade out Shelly instead.
Yeah, and I think that's the right call, right? Because it's a 4v5, they do not want to take that fight, but now it looks like, you know, they don't want to trade that out. Pit does not want to trade that out right now.
Glacial Prison lands on a Fallen Void, and Darius can't get the hook back onto the Forge God, but he's going to chase him down. There's the E coming through. Ghost is popped. He's trying to stack up those Hemoplague stacks, but he has to worry about Loose Cannon, who fires and shuts him down. On the other side, Exo Tempest gets one of his own kills thanks to Highlander and Alpha Strike, but Bounty Hunter will trade him out. Maybe an overstep there going for the Rift Herald, and Primal Instincts, they punish him.
They do punish them. The Darius was just pushed up way too far, was not able to get any help from the team. Actually, almost flipped it just by himself, but at the end of the day, you are always going to lose that 1v2. But I think Junisol did a good job of pushing out so much damage on the Aphelios on the top end of it. And then on the other side, it was the same thing. It was Evo pushed up too far on the E, gave them back a kill. It was just a lot of trading kills, but 2 for 1 means that it was Primal Instinct who traded better, especially because there were shutdowns on the Darius and the Sejuani, and so now the gold lead is just about 1,000.
Yeah, we're back neck and neck once again, and Rift Herald is still the name of the game, it seems, as Soldier and Yoshiko go for some wave clear. They take Harass from Lord Christo, who was pretty tired of rocking Soraka's damageless kit, is now turning out a lot of good damage on the Karma.
I think Soldier has to wait for his ultimate. I'm sorry, I was just thinking, but I do think Soldier has to wait for his ultimate to go for a fight. If you do not have that Sejuani ult, I think it becomes much more difficult. But they want to fight it anyway. And this might be difficult because they have the vision. There's no vision for the side of Primal Instinct.
Yeah, and they're taking Harass from Bounty Hunter constantly. And there's the Glacial Prison. They drop it on to Insanes, but the follow-up is a little bit disjointed. Fallen Void will jump forward. Chaos Storm is a bit late from Insanes. And it's just a trade of health so far as Shelly is trying to do her own work for the Primal Instinct squad onto the comp, but a flash away from Lord Christo will zone further off. Call the Forge God will find Ziggs, but it's not enough damage. Shelly falls, and we're still getting poke on poke, and the Vayne might be caught here. Yi falls to Monkey 3000, and a hemorrhage, and a nice placed bomb from Beehive. Ziggs means 2 huge kills go to the Shining Light defenders, and they even have Rift Herald to boot.
They ate so many bombs from Ziggs there. They never had the health bars. They were just funneled into that tiny choke point, and they ate so much damage from IRS Bounty Hunter, just living up to his name. He's just hunting those bounties, trying to get those kills, and he doesn't actually get those, or actually, excuse me, he does get a lot of those kills. I think the ultimate, you talked about how there was no follow-up from that Soldier ultimate on Sejuani. I disagree. The ultimate utilized from Ziggs chunked Insanes out to which he couldn't fight anymore, and when Yi wanted to go in, finally, he had no follow-up. He actually had no follow-up, and so he ended up falling, and then just the Kobe of all Kobe's from Bounty Hunter to get that final kill onto Just Loose Cannon. Just a great fight all in all from the side of Shining Light defenders.
Yeah, certainly a good fight, and the follow-up, I didn't say wasn't there. I said it was missed. It was desynced. You're making me split my words up because I can't remember what I said here. But it was a good play nonetheless. Insanes did end up following at the back end. And now we see Junisol and Lord Christo maybe going for a bit of a duel. Really good play there towards Shining Light defenders, but Bonfire, it seems like every time one of these squads punches, you know, an uppercut comes right back.
Yeah, both of these squads are fighting for their match day lives right here, and you can see why. I think it matters so much your positioning in playoffs. I hate to bring up playoffs again, but they are going to come at some point, whether you're ready or not.
Well, there's a beautiful catch on to Loose Cannon, who is shut down promptly. The Glacial Prison followed up by depth charges. Just too much CC for any Vade to handle. And they're going to drop Rift Herald right behind them. They knock down the mid-inner. If they can get this low enough, yeah, Shelly should take right care of business. Ooh. There's a beautiful hook by Yoshiko onto the Forge God. They're going to try and turn on to him, but no stuns will land. And they'll just line up Shelly for another charge. She knocks down the inhibitor at 21 minutes. And Shining Light defenders, they are shining through the blue side base, cracking it wide open.
And they can get the drag stacking to stop right now. I think the Primal Instinct win con was, hey, we've got some drags. We can hopefully try to do something with this right now. An interesting play call. Are they going for Baron? They might be trying to Baron under their nose, but they don't know that it's warded. Ooh, now the question is, do they start it? They do have the Master Yi, and it does look like they're going to start. And now it's just red alert for Shining Light defenders.
Yeah, the Dragon didn't even hit Summoner's Rift yet, and they're going to start Baron Dasher right up. Watch that health bar drain. They do it pretty quickly, down to 4K, now nearing 3K, and they're going to get forced off of it. It's Monkey 3000 and company show up. Ooh. The Darius pops the Ghost and rushes right at Insane. He misses the first Q and gets immediately turned on. So once again, Monkey 3000 oversteps, and Shining Light defenders have to go to the wayside.
And now Baron is an actual possibility. Before it felt like it was a turn on Baron type of situation. Now I think they can actually do it. But now they don't feel comfortable doing it. Even though it's a 4v5, now they want to back off. They have the health bars. This is a bit of a question mark for me.
Yeah, they decide to just zone off to their own jungle here. Maybe respecting Bounty Hunter's damage. The Ziggs is 3-0-2, 2 items deep. They don't want to get poked out by him. And they're just going to say, hey, listen, Baron might be in the cards, but we care more about that Hextech Soul, as they should be on to take this third one. Or actually, I'm getting switched up. They're not even going for that Hextech Drake.
I am so confused right now. They get 1 kill on Baron. It's a 4-on-5 for the rest of the map, and it's the Darius that's off the map. So it's a very high damage target, and they lose Dragon. Now they're going back to Baron, I think just to ward maybe. I'm just really confused. They might have Yoshiko, though.
Yoshiko utilizes the Blast Cone to get away from the Hextech Gate. Evo Tempest can't find anything. Yeah, maybe they're trying to set up ward supremacy here, and it's looking all blue. But now they're going to start it right up. They saw Aphelios towards the bot side there. You're seeing him recall now. So this is a 4v5 as Victor swings over. Ooh, we got to watch the health bars again. There's another Mega Bomb dropped, and it chunks so much off of Evo Tempest. Glacial Prison goes just a bit short, but now the side of Shining Light defenders are just going to jump right on the Baron themselves. Chunking down. They have no vision of it. It's down to 3K. The Call of the Forge God will signal the health bar, and Loose Cannon's going to step forward, go for some damage. Fallen Void jumps into the entire team. A huge gravity field shuts down a lot of the Shining Light defenders, and Victor and Vayne are starting to eat. There she goes forward with Final Tower. She's the only one with low, healthy health bar. Monkey 3000 steps up. 2 immediate Doxy and guillotines, and Ziggs finds the third. What a turn for the Shining Light defenders, and now they should finally get to take Baron.
It's all started on the Ziggs bomb. It pushed out so much damage, and at the end of the day, it allowed Monkey to get those dunks, because if you're Monkey, you have to make sure that they're low damage, that they're taking the stacks, and then you can finally get that dunk onto them. When they're low health because of the damage that Bounty Hunter had done, it just makes your life a lot easier. Evo got blown up in that fight as well. This is not what you want to see from Evo. He had such good games on Kayn, 1-4-4 with 130 CS, just very far behind on Yi.
Yeah, the E-pick is starting to look a bit brash, to say the least here, as the Darius and now quietly Bounty Hunter, who's 5-0-5 in this game, just churn out so much damage on their own. Take me through this replay, though, of the fight you were breaking down.
So they're taking damage from this Baron. It's getting down to about 7,000, almost 6,000. Look at this damage. Look at how much damage it does right there. So now they have to back up. Yi is incredibly low from Baron and from Ziggs. And now they're saying, well, let's just start it ourselves right now. They don't know the health bars are low. Evo's trying to back. He's getting kind of low. Call of Forge God is good. It knocks up 1. And then Fallen Void gets a double knockup. And this is where I'm thinking, oh no, it's a disaster. Yeet goes in, instantly dies to Bounty Hunter, and now they completely turn it around. Junisol able to get a kill onto Insanes. It's a 3v3 with Junisol and Bounty Hunter and Monkey. And look at the health bars of Fallen Void and Christo. Monkey just waiting in the wings. They don't know he's there. Dunk, dunk, and now it's Just Loose Cannon. And Just Loose Cannon, he can do a lot, but he cannot do enough. It ends up dying. A really fantastic job of kiting. Bounty Hunter pushed out so much damage that fight. I would imagine he is doing the most damage in the game right now.
Average stacks be damned. If you're low enough, Monkey 3000 will find you for the execute. It didn't, excuse me, singular stack of hemorrhage, which, if you don't know, just amplifies the damage for the Noxian Guillotine at all. It did not matter. A huge swing in that fight, and now Shining Light Defenders, they're finally at a comfortable point, and you can see Monkey 3000 is doing such a good job just zoning the entirety of Primal Instincts off of that inner turret in the bottom lane, and now they're going to try and crack their second inhibitor turret with the mid lane inhibitor still down. The siege will begin.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I love that it's all 5 down here. I think you could throw a Ziggs along with maybe Soldier and Yoshiko, and you feel just as comfortable. But you know, it is what it is. They really want this last turret, or this bottom turret. That damage onto Lord Christo. This Ziggs is so big right now, and he's going to take this so quickly as well. I expect this to go down very quickly. Good double knockup.
There's a good double knockup for Fallen Void, but he's immediately pulled back in and stunned up by Glacial Prism. But the Victor does his own bit of damage as he'll shut down Aphelios before falling to Soldier. Master Yi finally jumps in and immediately runs through the hills where he meets his demise. Loose Cannon's going to have to come up huge here. He's getting a good condemn onto the Darius. They shut down the Ziggs. Can the Vayne clutch it out? No. Hemorrhage shuts her down, and now Fallen Void hooked in by the Nautilus, knocked up by the Noxian Guillotine, and executed. No Ziggs, no problem. Monkey 3000 is going to shut this series out and give the W to the Shining Light Defenders.
That's it. That's all they can do. Monkey 3000, rip IRS Bounty Hunter, Junisol. They actually, I don't know if they can end. It's going to be close. The timers are getting down. I think they have, okay, they do have the numbers. It was getting tight there for a second. Although, here's the Yi. Oh, do they have time?
It's going to be close, but they lock it down. Shining Light Defenders, they not only right the wrongs of Game 1, they right the wrongs of Bonfire and Slayer's prediction and grab a Week 2 win off of a huge Game 3 over Primal Instinct here. Wow, what a back and forth affair, but take me through this final fight, Bonfire.
Yeah, it looks good for the side of Shining Light Defenders at first, and then Junisol dies, so it's a 1-for-1, and then Insane dies, and then it's a 1-for-2, but so it's looking good. They're able to get the Yi as well, so it's looking really good, but Soldier pushes up just a little bit too far, and then he dies. Look at IRS Bounty Hunter. He's tanking this entire thing without the Ziggs. I'm getting worried at this point, but they're able to get the Vayne, and at this point, the Vayne burns, and Fallen Void can do nothing else. It looked dangerous there for half a second, but you gotta believe in the Monkey, as he's able to win themselves the series.
They locked down a huge series win here. Shining Light Defenders, they already were 0-1 after week 1, and it was looking dire in the beginning against Primal Instinct, but they grab a huge win. You got to see a couple of great replays at the end of it, but now we got to talk the always coveted MVP of the series, talk Bonfire. There's a couple of names that certainly stand out. I know one name that I had in mind after Game 1 that is not present now after we finally wrapped up.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of names you could be saying. Monkey 3000 had a fantastic games as the Darius. You have to think back to his game before as well, where he played incredibly well on the Mundo. So I wouldn't be surprised if you would pick him. Me, personally, I'm a bounty hunter man myself. I love the bounty hunting. He had a good game 1, even though they lost. He had a great victor game, and he just rounded it out with the most damage in the game. Just a cool 25,000 on the Ziggs. I think it's IRS Bounty Hunter. Pay your taxes, folks. I had to get one more in. I had to get one more in. I had to get
ruined it right at the end. I'm gonna go with the most anti-AD carry pick possible right here, and I'm gonna give it to Soldier. I'm not gonna say Yoshiko. I know you thought I was gonna say Yoshiko, but Soldier in their 2 big wins was such an impactful player, not only in the early game on the Maokai and especially the Sejuani with those glacial prisons, but I think he was just a wrecking ball in some of these fights. And sure, it wasn't in the damage department, but he was setting up his teammates so well. Constantly in game 3, glacial prisons in top lane to get a kill on the Ornn, glacial prisons in mid lane to shut down Insane. Victor, it propelled guys like Bounty Hunter to do the damage that they needed to do, and he's doing a pretty gosh darn job peeling that Ziggs in the late game fights, and those Nature's Grasps in game 2 for Maokai were doing wonders as well to lock down the Primal Instinct side. So bit of a split vote here, but nonetheless, the win goes the side of Shining Light Defenders. So congratulations on a big week 2 win, but there's still a ton of Divine League season left over, and to be honest with you, there's a ton of Risen League of Legends action still slated, not only for this week. We have the Draft League coming on Friday, and then your Pre-Made Dominant and Pre-Made Unstoppable, Pre-Made Rampage as well, leagues all across the weekend. So as unfortunately this is me, myself, and Bonfire signing out for the night. Make sure to stick around to Risen for more League of Legends action, and shout out to Caddy, the producing god behind the scenes. But for one more time, I'm Slayer, that's Bonfire. Take care, folks.